Why aren't you listening to me? Doesn't anybody ever listen to me? Listen to me? Listen to me? Listen to me? Blame yourselves for this fucking word salad that I just spit all over the goddamn plate. This is all your fault. You and I like to. That's it. I work under the cover of darkness because I don't need the rest of society to look in my eyes and know that is a bad person. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt's 40-Year-Old Boy podcast, folks. I do not live the unexamined life. I've just found that out. Because Lily, she has a tiny little monkey who's got a hand over his mouth, and she's like, this is the mascot for the 40-Year-Old Boy podcast. I said, I used to have a smoking monkey. She's like, really? You still want another one? Because they still sell them. I go, no way. I said, dude, when I was a kid, I had a smoking monkey. I made him the mascot for my math team when I was a kid. And she goes, you told that story on this show. So I've officially crossed the threshold into guy who tells stories that he's told already. To his close friends, like, because I do it to you guys. I'll be like, when we'll go out and do shows, and I'll be at a bar and I'll mention some anecdote, and I go, oh my god, one time I was in a bar and they go, we know, and they all laugh in my face because I'm a doddering old fool who can't keep track of what the fuck he's talked about. Because even today there was something I thought of in the car and I go, fuck, I don't even know if I ever talked about that. I don't know. I should tell, but then I don't want to start a story and then have Lily do what she just did with the fucking smoking monkey and just go, you told that, dummy. Or have all of you just snap off your fucking, yank your cord out of your iPod vagina and be furious that this week's show is going to cover some covered ground, already trod upon ground. Folks, it turns out, and get this, by the way, folks, since we're flashing back and looking back at the past, it turns out I might have to host a burlesque show. But I said host. I said I'm Popeye. I'm going to host a burlesque show. Yeah, that's awful. Because literally just before she turned on the microphone, and this is not even a joke. I swear to God, this just happened. We're sitting here, and Lily's like, all right. And she goes, let's do a test. And I did a verbal test. And I said, when I started talking about overdriving microphones and whatever the fuck. And then I mentioned how much I enjoyed a friend of mine, and she just gave me an askance glance. And I said, no, seriously, he's a good guy. And then she went to go hit the button. And what she does is she got her finger poised on the button, and then she'll hit it, and then she'll point at me. And when she points at me, I'm supposed to talk. So she's got her hand hovering over the button, and she looks at me and she goes, hey, do you want to host Erotic Titty, the Prince Burlesque show? And I went, I like literally, because normally, let's put it this way, normally this is exactly what happens. She'll go, hey, do you want to host no, not never, not in a million years. And that's not because I don't enjoy it. I do like the burlesque shows a lot. I love going to the show. I love the kinetic energy. I love being in the room with those people. However, I do not like being in front of those people because they don't want to fucking see me. They don't give a shit about what I have in my bag of tricks. All they want to see is naked chicks hop on stage, and I don't blame them. And I don't have the wherewithal. See, like this show needs variety acts, and I've talked about this on here many, many times. I think probably in the same episode where I mentioned the smoking monkey. However... they need, like, she's got all these Buster Balloon dudes and these guys juggling and swallowing swords. And by the way, she just told me that story. She's got a friend now who's like a sword swallower who's going to be doing her show. And then she's like, oh yeah, we were at and this is how she tells me about him. All right, folks, because this is who Lily hangs out with. She hangs out with this traveling circus of fuck all. I mean, literally, it is just this unemployable group of people that just sit around these tables. Well, yeah, but doing what they do. The second people go, I don't want to see anybody throw fire. Those guys are fucked. They have to get a job like, stripping graffiti by, conjuring fireballs and burning it off the wall. I mean, what the fuck? You got to work for the state. You know what? That's what the state should do. California should do that. They should just hire all these magicians to conjure fireballs and burn graffiti off the walls. That's perfect. Fuck gang members and fuck these orange vest cocksuckers who get community service. Go wash a fire truck, motherfucker. We got the Magician Brigade burning the shit off the walls. Yeah. And we could call them that, the Magician Brigade. God damn it, it's perfect. And then you have like a car like the Ghostbusters with like fucking Fruit Pie the Magician painted on the side. Jesus Christ, I just invented a whole thing. Call me Jerry Brown. That's perfect. Yeah, because again, I look unemployable, thoroughly unemployable. In their industry, they're employable, but once that dries up, what are they going to do? They're going to do nothing. They're going to have to go. They're going to have to. You know what? Again, they get the Magician Brigade and they burn down like fields of weeds. That's what it'll do. They could work as gardeners. That's it. And because they conjure up big balls of wind to blow leaves off of driveways. Mexicans are fucked. Magicians are coming in. That's right. Take that, illegal immigrants. Some dude with a cape and a wand just took your entire fucking gig. You get to go home and make tortillas on a press or whatever the fuck you guys do. Or you know what? You have to get a juice cart. You ever see those dudes who push around? Look, and I don't even know what that juice could taste like. Look, I like aguas frescas, all right? I enjoy going to a place, and they'll make a watermelon aguas frescas. And again, I told you, I don't like watermelon, but I like watermelon-flavored things, which I may have mentioned in the same episode where I talked about a smoking monkey. God damn it. Talk about trotting upon ground, folks. I am just bringing it all up in your face. I am talking to you about things that I've talked about in the past. But if you're a Mexican dude, like, and you see, and you're in those, because we'll be in neighborhoods with Mexican dudes, and they're pouring, they got like a juice cart, but here's the thing, all right? Look, I like juice, and I like Mexicans, and put them together. Fuck, that's got to be great, right? I just want to see them make it. There's got to be some sort of special, like, I'm sure they just put it in a leaf blower and juice it up. They just drop a bunch of fucking pomegranates in the back of a juice blower, or a leaf blower, and you open your mouth, and they just spray the juice right in your face. You get like a mist, a fine mist of aguas mistas frescas. Mistas aguas juices. All right. So my point is, when you see those dudes with the agua frescas cart, because I think they got to be making agua frescas, because they're not making fucking Kool-Aid. It's not like a lemonade stand. But here's the thing. Mexican dudes will be pushing around these carts where they're going to make juice, but all you see, like you look in their little juice cabinet where they're storing their products, there's like radishes and fucking like kale and an apple and then a honeydew melon. And I'm like, that's got to be fucking grim. I mean, that's got to the worst juice ever. No wonder you're fucking walking up and down the street and nobody's stopping you. You got a radish and a fucking and a rutabaga and a jicama. God damn, I don't want to eat those or drink their juice. That's nasty, motherfucker. That's gross. Buy some oranges. You know what? Get some oranges. You're an American now. Look, I know where you can get some oranges. Your brother's selling them a block up. Go to the fucking freeway exit and see your brother. He's right there. Why don't those guys ever run into one another? I don't understand it. Those guys pushing the juice carts never run into the dude selling the fruit. There's a fucking Mexican dude who sells fruit at my bank. At my bank. You go to the bank and you walk out and this guy's like, want some grapes? What the fuck? Really? Apparently he's Prince from the Chappelle sketch. Want some grapes? God damn it. Fucking fantastic. Have I mentioned I'm hosting that burlesque show? But there's, why don't those guys ever run into one another? There's the dude pushing the juice cart filled with radishes and onions. And then there's a guy in the parking lot and he's selling delicious grapes. Meet one another. Meet in the middle, motherfuckers. Have a juice powwow, a Mexican juice powwow. Somewhere where do they hang out? I don't even know where they would hang out. You got one neighborhood and then the other neighborhood and never the twain shall meet. I don't think Twain's a Mexican name. Never the Perez shall meet. There you go. Is Perez a Mexican name? I have no idea. It's got a Z in it. Never the Zwain shall meet. There you go. There's maybe the Zwain, or remember the Waynes. The Zwain. I don't know. I'm putting a Z in there. Twains. The Twain sounds like a fucking boy band. I gotta stop. Actually, you know what it is? It's a boy band that goes on the road and they do Tom Sawyer, and not the Rush version. They actually do. They do like hip hop versions of Mark Twain stories. Twains with a Z. It's this group of young boys. They're like, you know what? That's the kind of shit you'd have at your assembly at school. Oh, fuck. They gather you in and we're like, good, in assembly, I'm out of class. And they go, hey, boys and girls, what's up? And oh, no, this is death. Horrendous. But I still loved it because I would still sit in the gym bleachers and you know what? I got to mock. That's all I give a fuck about. I just got to mock. Fine with me. Because I don't know if you're aware of that, folks. I like to mock. My name is Mock. Thanks a lot. That's a reference. If anybody gets it, I will give you $5. I'm not even kidding. I'm kidding. I'm absolutely kidding. I can't give you $5 because inevitably there's Google now. In the old days, I could say that to somebody and they go, well, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But now they click 4 keystrokes and I'm out of Babe Lincoln. I think I said Babe Lincoln there. I was going to say I'm out in Abe Lincoln. And I said I'm out of Babe. Oh, God damn it. I'm Wayne. That's who I am. I'm Wayne from Wayne's World. And oh, look, my water's moving. Jurassic Park knockoff. All right, so, folks. So now I apparently am going to have to host this burlesque show for our friend Lily, which is called Erotic Titty, and it's the Prince. And she said it, and I like I said, normally I just blurt out no, but I looked and I went, I smiled. I had to, like I didn't even mean to, just my face smiled. I went, oh, you know what? Fuck, you got me. You got me. Like literally the only other time you could get me is if there was like a Van Halen, burlesque show, I would have to host that. I guess I have to host this one and the Tarantino one. Those are the only ones I would have to. Or a Brad Pitt. If there was a Brad Pitt themed one, like with Seven and all that kind of stuff, all of his movies. Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, Brad Pitt is that we're going to go with now since we got Erotic Titty and then we're going to go with Brad Pitt. Oh man, I'm in. I'm naming it, folks. Again, like I said, I'm the mastermind of burlesque. And the Mastermind of Magicians. I've gotten you guys jobs. All you unemployed magicians out there. That's right. Go to the state and just go, look, I can throw fireballs and burn off graffiti. Done. I've saved you in your twilight years when no one's impressed by magic anymore. When the Arab Spring has spread to America and every state has isolated itself from one another and broken off into 50 distinct countries, you're going to need work because then magic will be over. No one's going to be, when the zombies come, no one's going to give a shit about magic unless your magic defeats the zombies in some way. That's what you need to work on. Hold on a second. Let's scale this back. I think the magician should team up with the Mexicans and get some sort of magic juice that defeats the zombies. That's what you should do. Magicians should actually go to my bank and sell magic in the parking lot. How great would that be? There's a Mexican in a pickup truck. I get some grapes from him. I walk over and I pull, I get into the, is this your card out of a guy? Done. Magicians and Mexicans forever. Mexicans? I came close there. All right. Mexicans. There you go. Magixicans. There you go. Perfect. I don't know if I want to see a Mexican dude in a cape though. That would be kind of creepy. That doesn't. They're not a cape people.
They're not a cape.
No, Mexicans. It's not racist at all. Hey, look, I'm not a cape person, which makes me an honorary Mexican. I'll make the hell out of an onion radish juice. Holy shit! Get a cart and walk down the street and just fill it with all the vegetables nobody eats, and they turn it into. And I will say this though. Let's go. I will. They make that into a delicious juice. I cannot argue that. I just don't understand how they do it. They're shaman. I mean, it's like, how the fuck, where did you come up with this magical juice making ability? Because down in Mexico, it's all drugs and Wild West and fucking resorts where Americans go and give you tips. I mean, and every time I was down there, they sell chiclets and blankets. That's it. But somehow, somewhere deep in the Mexican jungles, there's a juice making cave. And it's like the Fortress of Juicitude, and you show up and you learn how to make fucking juice, and then you bring that talent to America, and every horrible thing that nobody would ever eat in a million years, piles of grass, and like I said, just onions and lotus root and fucking blood orange, and they put it together, and you're like, holy shit, this is delicious. Magixicans, god damn it, it's magic Mexicans who make juice. That's perfect. However, again, no cape. I'm talking a lot. And why not, quite frankly. I came here today, folks. I will tell you this. I was downstairs. As you know, look, I've talked about this a million times. Lily's building is like a rough place. It's the oldest building in Hollywood, and it's not in a bad neighborhood. It's just a hard place to park. It's a hard place to find any place to stop your car or get out and do whatever. So sure enough, I got here today, and it was packed. And then there was one woman who was sitting in her car. And I was on the phone with Lily. And I go, well, this chick's sitting in her car, so maybe she's taken off. So Lily goes, well, have you pulled up and asked her if she's leaving or anything? I go, no, why would I do that? That would mean I have to talk to a human being. I get no interest in that. When I see taillights, I will swoop in and park. That's it. By the way, it's Tuesday. I should tell you that, too. It's a Tuesday record. Because if you're hearing this on Thursday, I'm in Atlanta already. That's right. That's how it works. I'm a Majixican. I just throw. There's like a poof of smoke, and the next thing you know, I'm standing in kudzu and I'm eating boiled peanuts. Boom. That's how it works. So it's Tuesday right now as I record this. So I'm just giving you an idea of what's happening. Because tomorrow is Wednesday and I will be on a plane. Let's talk about this for just a second. By the way, Atlanta. Tickets are still on sale for at least one more day. So go to Brown Paper Tickets and pick up tickets. And I will tell you this right now with confidence, there will be walk-up sales available. Because Atlanta is, you guys decided you weren't exactly too thrilled about Mike Schmidt coming to town. And not just for the show, because get this, it's part of the Kickstarter. This is the first tour of the first stop on the Kickstarter East Coast tour that we put together. And you guys, there was a thing where there were 4 people who could buy if they contributed a certain amount, which is I think $300. You got all the goofiness that came before it, but also you got to hang out with me in the city where I was going to work. There's Atlanta, Washington, D.C., and Cleveland and Boston. Well, I've been claimed in Boston and I've been claimed in Washington, D.C. I don't think I'm claimed in Cleveland just yet, although, and I was claimed in Atlanta. Let's put it this way. People bought those. 4 people donated the $300. Unfortunately, 2 of them wanted me in D.C. So I'm trying to make that work. I'm trying to accommodate. Oh, I'll get to that in a second. I'm trying to accommodate. Well, I am accommodating. Well, there's this guy Joel. And it's so funny. Joel donates the money, and he's real cool. And so I wrote him, because I wrote all you guys on Kickstarter to find out what you wanted and when you wanted it. And he wrote me back, and he's like, "I'm gonna make this easy on you. We'll go to breakfast on Saturday. That's fine." And I want to say to him, Joel, you don't have to make it easy on me. I'm coming to town Wednesday on purpose so I can accommodate all of the people who wanted to fucking see me. But again, I feel stupid then, because then I'm chasing people. You know what I mean? Then I'm calling people. I'm like, hey, when do you want to see me? When do you want to get together? What do you want to do? I mean, I throw it out there and say, tell me what you want and pick a day. And if you cushion it with some weird thing like, hey, well, dude, whatever you want to do. Well, guess what? I will never see you. How about that? What do I want to do? I want to give you your $300 back and call the whole fucking thing off. That's what I want to do. Don't put it in my fucking lap. Seriously, if the ball's in my court, you know what I do? I deflate that ball and walk to the locker room. Ball's in my court, I scoop that ball up and I throw it into the rafters, and as you're looking for it, I run away and hide so you don't see me again. Jesus, don't act like I'm so excited and you're like, well, maybe. No. If there's a maybe on your end, tell me, because this is off. You know what it is? It's like they're waiting to yank the rug out from under me and make me fall over, and I'm waiting to do the same thing. So now we're both just standing there holding ends of the rug and staring at one another. Jesus fuck, pick a goddamn time. So I guess he did. So Joel said, even though he said he'd make it easy on me, I'm having breakfast or whatever, or lunch with Joel on Saturday before I fly out in Washington, D.C. And then our friend Frances, who has seen me in Philadelphia, and she was so excited about D.C., but Joel was the first guy to do the 300, and he claimed D.C. I mean, there was nothing I could do about it. So Frances was like, I'm coming on a train to D.C., and I claim you for that. And I go, hey, terrible news. Joel has claimed me, but Joel's uncaring attitude, I don't know, his disinterest in seeing me for any length of time has played into Frances's behalf. So she's like, well, I don't know when I'm coming up. I might be there Wednesday or Thursday, but, we could go Friday and hang out. Friday's out, folks. You know that. This is why I come in on Wednesday, because Wednesday is the de facto Friday. Friday, I'm encased in my hotel room staring and learning jokes. That's all I'm doing. So Friday's out, but I'll be in town the other days, and that's that. So Frances is like, well, I don't know when I'm going to come. And I should say there's another gentleman, a guy, a listener, I think it was Eric, who offered, I think he works at the Department of Defense, and he said, yeah, I work there, and I can bring you like behind the scenes, like a thing. Which sounds great, except for the fact that, do you really want me behind the scenes at the Department of Defense? I can't, I touch everything on Lily's desk. You think there's a button or a switch I'm not going to push or flip?
No.
Every country's in peril. If I'm at the Department of Defense, hey, what's this button do? Push. Oh, you know what that button does? It eliminates Paraguay from the map. You have just rained ICBMs on Paraguay. You started World War 2.5, because let's face it, Paraguay's not going to fucking do anything. They're just gone. All that means is there's another slot in the World Cup to fill. Nobody gives a shit if I bomb Paraguay. You know what? Fuck that. That works out. Bring me to the Department of Defense. Take me to the Paraguay room. Let's do this. That's a story to tell. I come back the next week. Hey, folks, I bombed the shit out of Paraguay. As long as it wasn't Mexico, because we need their delicious juice. Mexico stays, as far as I'm concerned. All the meth and the drugs. Remember the fuck that Wild West show they've got at the border, and sneak in all you want. If you Majixicans can go ahead and turn fucking tomatoes and fucking beets and everything else into a goddamn delicious juice on the street. That's the thing. It's on the street. That's the thing. It's supposed to. If they're not in a kitchen, they don't have a Vitamix. They're not in some amazing fucking. They don't have all the equipment in the world. They have a fucking push cart with a spoon and a fucking bundle of old produce that nobody would ever eat, and somehow it turns into the elixir of the gods. And it shouldn't surprise me, because these guys set up a retail shop in the bank and make money. They spend all day slaving in the hot sun under the fields with grapes. And my favorite thing is, I always wonder to myself, doesn't somebody own those grape fields? And don't they probably employ a bunch of Mexicans to pick all those grapes. But these Mexican dudes have trucks full of grapes. Do they show up with like baggy clothes and they fill it with grapes by the end of the day? And then when they go to punch out, because look, I'm not begrudging that at all, because what the fuck are these farmers paying? 9 cents an hour? Cesar Chavez is dead. So it's like, they're fully comfortable ripping off the grape pickers at this point. They're like, that one troublemaker's finished. He lives on a T-shirt. We could not care less. So then these Mexican dudes have to borrow, like, they get my old clothes from Goodwill, and then they wear them and like, si, senor. And then they walk out and they look like they weigh 800 pounds. Everybody's like, what the fuck happened to you? I don't know. I swell up in the sun. And then they immediately hop into their truck and go to the bank. And they sell their crotch grapes. Maybe that's the secret to the juice.
Oh God, no.
Maybe it's so hot in the Mexican sweat in the sun mixing with the grapes and then the fucking weird vegetables that they mix in. Oh my God, that's the elixir, the sweat of a Mexican boy. That's what it is. The sweat of a Mexican migrant worker who's picking grapes in the hot sun, that is the secret ingredient of all aguas frescas. And oh, so delicious. I don't care where it comes from. It's so goddamn good. All right. So what was I talking about before I got into that again? Why I was DC. So this guy wanted to bring me to the Department of Defense, and I'm like, I'm still on the fence about that because I get into town Wednesday, and then I got Thursday, Friday, and then of course I don't know if you heard, if Joel can be bothered to get out of bed on time, he and I are having breakfast on Saturday. Again, I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I may wind up at a bank looking for someone just to give me anything off the street. It's DC, who knows? So if Joel can be bothered, I'm having breakfast with him. But now Frances is like, so I told her that and she was disappointed, but she's like, well, can I claim you for Friday? I said, Frances, you know that Friday's out for me. And then she's like, well, what about Thursday? Like, I'm coming up on the train, but I don't know how it's going to, and I go, I said, well, yeah, I said, that's fine, but what do you want to do? She's like, well, we could go all over. We could look at the Smithsonian, we could go to the Capitol, we could do all these different things. I said, you know what I really want to do? I want to go in the White House. Because look, I did not take the 8th grade trip to DC. I've never been to DC. I didn't do the walk around. I've never seen anything in DC. I've not been to our nation's capital. So I want to do the White House tour. And she's like, great. Okay, let's do it. And then, and what I will tell you this, Frances is the anti-Joel. Because Joel has stayed in contact with me but then he has been very, whatever. You know what I mean? Hey, if you can bring me a shirt, maybe, who cares? Well, you donated $300. You get it. Whatever. Okay, fine, Joel. I don't want to bother you. But Frances, the second I told her I want to go to the White House, I got 19 emails from her explaining the procedure. Guess what, folks? There's a procedure. I didn't realize that. I thought there was like a line outside, like it was a roller coaster. You know what I mean? Like, I thought it was like Disneyland where you just lined up outside and then they let 10 people in, and it just shifts. But here, get this, folks. If you go to the White House, you have to be invited by your congressman. Like literally you have to contact your own congressman and ask them if it's okay. And then they check and they process the paperwork for you. Like it's the weirdest thing. And look, it makes sense. All right. I mean, I get that because there's a bunch of crazy fucking idiots here who are going to wind up doing something stupid. Which makes me wonder if I'm going to get in, quite frankly, because it's like Frances, she gave me the spreadsheet, she gave me the instructions because she contacted her congressperson. I contacted my congressman, but he was out. The person who handles that was out until this week, Tuesday or Wednesday, and you have to have it in 21 days in advance, I think it is. So I told Frances, and she immediately sprang into action. She's got a congressperson. She did this. She sent me 19 things to fill out. But here's the thing. On the spreadsheet, they want my social. They want my social security number and birth date and all that stuff. And I would have had to send that to Frances, and then she would have had to put her information in. And look, I like Frances, but I don't feel too comfortable like giving her my social security number, quite frankly. I'm a little weirded out by that. Because she's an old punker, too. That's the thing. And she's like from the 80s and stuff. She was going to see, Naked Ray Gun and all these other bands. She had fucking pink hair and a mohawk. Who knows if she doesn't revert to that? She might be the Manchurian listener. She could be the Manchurian listener, and she gets my fucking, social security number and then wreaks havoc. I never hear back from her. That's all she wanted. This is a long con. She's listened to the show for 4 years, came to Philadelphia, met me there, was pissed that she didn't get to hang out with me there, has constantly stayed in constant contact with me via Twitter and email, all to get my social and just flip the script on my entire life. That's a long con. Well, good for her. But I sniffed you out, Frances. Take that. So she sent me all this stuff. So I go, look, and I didn't answer. I tried to, and I even looked at Karen and I go, hey, I got to give my social to this person. And she's like, are you sure you want to do that? And then in my head, I was going to put in the body of the email, be a little discreet with my information here. But then I realized that the guy who reads all the email at Google and whatever the fuck would read that and go, oh, discreet. And he would immediately download what I fucking put in there. So then he gets a look at my social. I'm not emailing my social. So I did not write Frances back because I was still pondering overnight. And because it has to be in by Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. All right, so this is yesterday, all these back and forths with Frances. And by the way, it was a lot more forths than backs. Because this is not a joke. She sent me 12 emails. It had to easily send me 12 emails because she sent them to me from her work, her home, and then 2 other sub accounts that she keeps because she's stealing identities, as we just figured out. We just covered. So I would open, every time I would open my email, there'd be just this fucking phalanx of emails from her real name and her other name and all these different names. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. And every one of her emails, she's like, please reply all when you send this information because I don't know if I will be at work or if I will be at home or if I will be in the parking lot of the bank selling grapes. I have no idea if I will be out with a push cart and a pile of fucking chicory and celery root. I don't know where I will be. So I hit reply all, and I did not answer her, and then she wrote me again and again, and then I'm at work, so I can't answer her because I don't have any fucking email in Shitville, so I am forced, unfortunately, to just read her emails helplessly, sitting there on the phone where she's just like, hey, when you get this, please make sure you reply all because if you don't reply all, I don't know. I'm just like Frances is just a chihuahua in lady clothes. I mean, she is just, hey Spike, what do you think, Spike? Hey Spike, she's jumping around. Hey Spike, hey Mike, hey Spike, jumping around and she's hopping over my head and stuff like that. And I'm just the bulldog walking along going, man, where's the juice cart? I mean, honestly. And she's just hopping all over the place and going, let's do this, let's do that. And I'm like, motherfucker, now I'm like, look, I'm not running for president, all right? You realize that, okay? It's not imperative that I fill out 19 things of paperwork I'm not going to live in the White House. Stop sending me emails. You're not drafting me as a candidate. I'm not a third party. But it doesn't matter. Just this battalion of fucking correspondence just comes flying at me through every machine, phone, laptop, desktop. So she solved it. She's like, oh my God, I finally figured it out. You don't have to send me any of your social. Because she even said, like I told you, I couldn't answer her last night. So she kept sending things like, is it that you don't want me to have your information? I mean, I guess if you don't want me to have your information, I understand that. I can just send you my information because I would trust you. But I mean, I don't know. I guess like all this stuff. I'm like, dude, calm down. The White House isn't going anywhere. Unless it's Independence Day. Unless Bill Pullman comes out and gives a speech and Will Smith and Harry Connick Jr. wake up and look out their windows and see a spaceship, we're fine. Unless somehow Randy Quaid flies a B-2 bomber into the teeth of a fucking Death Star and blows it up, we're okay. When you look back at that movie, how awful is it? How awful is that moment? It's awesome. It's like, it's a true summer smell of popcorn in the air blockbuster, but then the way it ends, you're furious. You're so furious. Really? Randy Quaid in the Red Baron plane? He and Snoopy fly into the Death Star and blow it up? Are you fucking joking? It's worth it to watch that movie just to see Jeff Goldblum fucking Goldblum all over everybody. Yeah. That's genius. I would watch Goldblum and then Judd Hirsch as his dad. Literally, you're like, I wish this was a separate movie. I wish it was My Dinner with Judd, and it was Jeff Goldblum and Judd Hirsch having dinner. I would watch that for hours upon fucking hours. God damn it, Jeff Goldblum's awesome. I watched Big Chill the other night. It was on at like 3 a.m. I left it on just because he's the fucking shit in that movie. He's so great. And the whole movie's great. All of it's great. Lee Horsley. And that movie is the genesis of how I want to spend time with my friends. I know it's so stupid. Whenever I told my friends I wanted to go hunting or like get a cabin, and they're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I said, I don't know. I just want to be with all you guys in a room. I mean, it's like, because I don't see my friends ever again, at all. And they've all moved on and they have kids and they have lives. And so in my opinion, I'm just like, all my friends back in Chicago, I'm like, let's just get the UN of Evil and go on a fishing trip. Let's do that. That'll be awesome. And, and then because someone's getting raped, inevitably somebody will get raped in the woods. That's what happens. And we'll have to draw short straws to see which one of us it is. And then we'll look at who gets to wear the sleeveless vest and carry the crossbow and save everybody. This is going to be fucking awesome. Let's get the UN of Evil in a cabin and draw the short straw to see who gets raped. I said, it'll be awesome, man. I go, we'll fish all day. We'll play poker all night. And my friends are like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And it's not even that I want to fish or play poker. I just want to see my friends together, like for a weekend, because it makes me think of Big Chill, where they're all cooking together and then they go to separate rooms, but then they're together and they play touch football and they watch the Michigan game. Oh my God, how great would that be with your friends? I'm old. I'm going to die soon. I need to connect with people in real life, not via 900 emails from Francis the Punk. And the thing is, you know what's ironic about this? I hate people. I don't want to talk to anybody. But if it's the right people, if it's the UN of Evil and all of us, it's me and Mex and Jeff and fucking Big Guy and Dennis and Ock and Jimmy O. I mean, if all of us are in a fucking cabin somewhere, that would be, I mean, it would be horrible, but genius at the same time. I don't think it's allowed. I think if the second we rented it, there would be like a UN of Evil alert that would go off somewhere and all of the park rangers and stuff would go, you guys got to move on. This isn't going to happen. I mean, if it was Jeff Goldblum and Jennifer Tilly, certainly they could stay here and play some touch football, but you guys got to move on. We know something bad's going to happen. Come on, we got to do it, guys. Let's get a cabin out at Baby Lake. Oh, Christ, I have no friends. Nothing at all. All right, so Francis is bombarding me with correspondence. I mean, even like now, if you listen, yeah, you can hear it. My inbox is filling up. And that's the thing, you know, because you have infinite storage online. I'm starting to think she's going to fill up all of my email boxes.
Awesome.
It's just going to be packed with, you know, and her real name or fake name, all these different names. And then like somehow she'll talk to like some old punkers to send me emails. It's like, what? Marky Ramone? Why are you writing me? Just wanted to remind you, Mike, to get your White House stuff in order so you and Francis can go there on Thursday. By the way, that's my Marky Ramone impression. He actually sent me an audio email. I was able to play it. We thought it would be funny if you and Francis went to the White House. Meet me at 53rd and 3rd. All right. What Jello? Why is Jello Biafra writing me? I don't. All right.
Awesome.
It's a holiday in Washington with Mike and Francis there. It's a holiday in Washington. All right. I tried to follow Jello on Twitter. Like like in my head, I was like, I should follow Jello on Twitter. I don't know why it popped into my head. And he's got an account. There's like a @Jello Biafra. And I'm like, cool. And the best part is the description. This is not Jello Biafra. This is Alternative Tentacles Records holding this in case Jello ever decides he wants to Twitter. I love it. I picture them every day calling him, Jello, you ready for this? Fuck you. Good Lord. I love the fact that they're cyber squatting for Jello and he has no interest in it whatsoever. Fuck that. I'll never be on Twitter. All right, so it's my Jello impression. Stupid. All right. It's dumb. It's dumb. I love dumb. All right, so Francis just come this avalanche of fucking correspondence. So I finally fill out the spreadsheet this morning, and this morning I got a new one from her, and it was like, good news, and I'm like, well, you're stopping emailing me? Is that the good news? Your keyboard broke? Is that the good news? Possibly. Your send button fell off, and it will no longer send any sort of correspondence my way. Jesus fucking Christ! I got news for you. Every time I open my email now, my computer creaks. Because my email box is like a bathtub that's being overfilled and it's on the second floor, and just under the weight of your correspondence, my computer may just fucking unload and collapse within itself. Your email is Randy Quaid flying a plane into my computer. Every note you send has Randy Quaid piloting it right into the center of my computer to fucking blow it up. Stop emailing me, Francis. Jesus. So unbelievably, she's figured it out. She figured out a way. She heard from the person in her congressperson's office, and they said, "Hey, here's what you do. You go ahead and you can send your spreadsheet, and he can send his separately, but make sure in your emails you both say you're part of the party together." Which seems like a solution that we should have thought of on our own, quite frankly. I don't know why it took someone who works in a congressperson's office to explain to us how to email. Because Frances has emailing down. I don't know if you're aware of this, folks. Frances certainly has email. She knows how to do it. She's well aware of how to do it. But we needed Melissa in this congressperson from Virginia's office to get a hold of us and let us know what we needed to do. So I went on this morning and then, like I said, Frances sent me an email. She's like, here's how we do it. And what we got to do is you got to send it separately and all that kind of stuff. And I said, okay. And then I'm not even joking. 5 seconds later, hey, do me a favor. Make sure you tell me when you send yours so I can send mine and we can send them together so they get there as soon as possible and as close together as possible. Fuck, stop. So I filled out the fucking page and I sent it to Melissa. And then I now, and it's funny, folks, if you get an email from me, you know that there's a format I follow. Like I use your name because it's very important to me. And at the end of every email, I always put, thanks for listening. I appreciate it. And and it's my signature, Mike@MikeSchmidtComedy.com. And then I'll answer within the body, whatever your questions are. And, or I won't. I don't know what the fuck. Folks, here's how my emails break down. Stupid. Well, but so I pointed out because if you know me, I am efficient. And that's one of the reasons why I've fallen behind in my correspondence, is because I feel the need to answer you in the manner of which I was questioned. All right. So if you write me 80 paragraphs, unfortunately, I can't just dismiss that with a hey, chuck on the chin and a thanks for listening. So I will try to answer your questions. So Frances is just. I'm lying under the pile of emails. It's like, you ever see those movies where, or you ever hear those stories about the woman who lived in the house and was all of a sudden her newspapers collapsed on top of her and she died? That's what I'm waiting for with all this email. You will find me dead under a pile of Frances correspondence. So what my point is, I answer your emails and I try to answer it as an actual letter and I try to address all your points. All I did with Frances wrote me back like 3 times this morning. I just wrote back, sent. That's all I wrote. Sent. 4 letters. Take the, and I only should have wrote hint. Sent. Hint. And I sent that, and then she wrote me, and she's like, "Great, now we wait. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait. We're going to have to oh my God, no! I said sent. Done. I should have said that. Sent, hint, done. Not only one word, only 4-letter words. That's the only way I address Frances now. Actually, that doesn't work because there's not a second E in bye. Call it off. Put your keyboard away. Turn your computer off until I get there. All right? And tell Marky to stop sending me notes too, for fuck's sake. Call Jello off. Go to Washington. Uber Frances. Go to Washington. Uber Frances. All right. Oh, Christ. Yeah, that's fun. That's fun to do Jello. All right. It's awful. So, yeah. So I think I'm going to the White House. I don't know. All I know is my paperwork is taken care of and is sitting there waiting. And then Frances, this is so, she said, yeah, we go to the White House. And then she goes, then we can do the Smithsonian and we can go to the Capitol building. She goes, I have a friend at the Capitol building. I have to figure out if that's going to work. Oh my God. Which I guess is good. All right. It's good to have somebody who does that. Because folks, let's turn our lonely eyes to Atlanta. Because, as I mentioned, the guy who bought Atlanta, the guy who ended up getting Atlanta, lives in Toronto and has no interest in being there and can't be there. I don't know. I will say this too. The guy who bought that his name is Ed. All right. And he's donated to the show. I've mentioned him on here many times. And Ed, because also part of the prize or the part of the rewards package that people have to get is they get this artwork. There's everybody gets a frame, or there were certain rewards, and some people just get a framed print or piece of artwork from the show with their favorite id or actual artwork. But then people, there were some people who get a custom caricature. The $250 level is people get a custom caricature of me, Little Schmitty, with themselves. So they have to provide me with a picture.
Oh, yeah.
Which is fine. You know what I mean? It's like, and our friend Amity was very nice. She sent me a nice picture of herself. And, but Ed, he sent me a picture. I don't think it's him. Like, it's weird. It's like, he's like, yeah, this is the picture I want. I don't know if he ever said this is me because honestly, it's an awesome picture. I mean, it's a great picture. of a good-looking guy like in a bar in 1978 with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. Like, you know what I mean? That kind of, yeah, it's like it looks like a Brando photo. Like literally he was like, hey, I'll do Brando and you take a picture of me. And it's kind of like black and white. I mean, it's a really good-looking picture. So if it's him, good for you, Ed. You're a good-looking fella. But I don't think it's him. Like I cast aspersions on you, Ed. I don't believe that. Like I think Ed was just like I can't share my countenance with Mike, and so he's like me. You know, I don't want to send my social security number to Francis. He doesn't want to send his photo to me just on the off chance it winds up something crazy. So he sent some picture of some good-looking guy in a bar, because it literally looks like how do I put this? It looks like Esai Morales from Bad Boys. Do you know that scene where Esai Morales he and Sean Penn hate one another, okay? And he's really brooding looking and ethnic looking, but also really steaming good looking. And especially compared to Sean Penn, who looks like fucking 80 miles of bad paparazzi beaten up road. I mean, in that movie, he looks horrible. That fucking long ass hair, and he's so fucking fish belly white and terrible. But still looks a million times better than Clancy Brown. Because Clancy Brown has a blonde perm. Hey, scumbag. Haha, if you've seen Bad Boys, you know exactly what comes next. Face full of soda cans. All right, so Ed looks like Esai Morales from Bad Boys. And so good for him, but I don't think it's him. I don't think that's you, Ed. And also that, and I, you know what? I'll never know because he's not going to be in Atlanta. See, it's all as part of Ed's master plan. This is why he can't meet me in Atlanta, because he's like, nah, dude, I couldn't possibly. I'm sorry, I'm in Toronto, but here's an awesome picture of me. Draw me. So I have me painted forever as that guy. And then all of his friends are going to be, and I'm actually worried about it because then his friends are going to see it and go, that doesn't look anything like you. And he's going to go, well, blame the artist. I don't like your chicanery, Ed. I don't like your trickery. Pulling a bait and switch on me with a photo of a young Brando Morales. Pushing his juice cart up and down the street. Yelling, Stella radishes. All right. So anyway. So Ed has relinquished me for Atlanta. And then there are other people who have been like swarming me for Atlanta. Like there's been two particular dudes who are like, dude, we when you come to Atlanta, that's it. We're in. We have to do this. And then there's other people who are interested in meeting me in Atlanta. And I don't know if those people are interested in meeting me or if they're actually interested in hanging out with me. And I don't want to be that guy who's like forward. They're like, hey, what are you doing when you're in Atlanta? I don't know. What are we doing? Oh no, terrible. I don't want to invite myself along with people. So now I'm kind of open, and I'm flying in early to these cities in Kickstarter because I'm opening my schedule up to you folks. Because Friday is out, so I come in Wednesday. I think I've covered all this earlier. So our friends who wanted to see me, there was a guy named Joe, and then a guy named Stacy, and these are guys who. And I will tell you, Joe's donated to the show before. I actually mentioned Joe last week because Joe bought 10 or 15 tickets for his friends, but he's not going to the show. So he was a guy who always said, when you come to Atlanta, man, I can't wait to go to the show, and I'm taking you out for dinner, and it's going to happen. We're going to hang out and da-da-da. So Joe instead, he's not going to be there. So instead, he donated to the show, and then he bought a bunch of tickets to the show that he's going to give to friends. And then Joe took me and Karen out for sushi last night. He happened to be in California for business, and that was one of the reasons why he's not going to be in Atlanta. And he's like, we got to make this happen, wherever you want to be. And he was going to bring you, but you have the Monday Night Teas, unfortunately, on Monday night, so you could not come. So Karen and I went to dinner with Joe. And Joe is everything I'm not. Joe is all of the things I should be, but I'm not. Joe is an elegant man with an amazing pocket square. He's a little older than me, and he's got like 3 daughters in college, and he's like he's the kind of guy who I don't understand how he listens to me and cares or is any. He's the kind of guy who I first of all I can't even picture him wearing earbuds. That's how elegant this guy was. He had like a wedding ring with 1 diamond strip and a black onyx strip in gold. Like it was a solid gold. Oh, it was gorgeous. It was so gorgeous. And to the point where I'm like, I wonder if I could, what I could get for that. If something bad happened to Joe here in California. I wasn't going to roll Joe. But I mean, when I met him in the, because I don't know what to expect when I see people. So I told him to meet me at Katsuya at 7:30. I made a reservation and we walked in and he was there and I saw him and I'm like, oh my God, he just looks like money. You know what I mean? Like he's that kind of dude. And he was really cool and so nice and really accommodating and friendly. And he sat down. He's just like, order anything. I'll eat anything. So and he starts telling us. I mean, it's crazy. He went to 4 colleges. He's got like a PhD, and he went to law school. He was a college professor, but he's also touring the world. He's giving lectures, and he works for a law firm. I mean, just like this fucking amazing. And I'm giving way too much information about Joe. Holy shit! Should I cut that? I don't know. But he was very excited to. He wanted to hang out, and he's a very nice guy. But man, I don't know why the only reason he would listen to me is to just laugh and go, ha 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 ha, that idiot. You know what I mean? Literally, there's no other reason to listen to me. But he's been listening since Never Not Funny. I mean, he knew me from there, and then he hopped on here and he listens to all these. He told me last night about podcasts that he listens to, and I mean, he doesn't. Because he's older than me, and he doesn't strike me as anybody that would listen to podcasts, but maybe he's traveling so much. And also, he was asking me about shows I listen to, and I told him all of the great shows I listen to, which would be a short list. I told him, I go, and it's not because I don't like shows. I mean, if I can listen, I will listen to, I'll listen to, of course, Bill Burr and Return to Sender and all these different shows. They're great. And they're friends and they're nice people, but I just don't, I mean, I barely listen to my show. And when I do it, listen to 10 minutes of it. That's it. And I explained that to Joe at dinner. I said, I can't listen to me. I said, because I used to, the first 2.5 years, I would listen to me, but I had to concentrate on me. I can't listen to me as background. And I can't listen to any podcast as background. I need to focus on what's being said. Otherwise, it's just this weird buzzing. And I have to listen to music. If I'm going to listen to stuff, it's music. Unless I'm going to pay attention. And I don't pay attention. What the fuck? I can't do that. And he's the antithesis of that. He goes, I listen to you in the background. He goes, I love podcasts in the background while I'm working, whatever I'm doing. I constantly have them on and I get to listen. So I was great. He listens to Steve Dahl out of Chicago because he went to Chicago because Steve Dahl was a famous DJ in Chicago who actually now does a podcast that you have to pay for. I think he and Jimmy Pardo are the only two that you actually have to subscribe and pay for the episodes. Jimmy, of course, is successful at it. I have no idea how Steve's doing. I'm sure he's doing fine, but it's that thing where you charge and then people lose their minds. You know what I mean? You're like, hey, I'm just charging $1.50 a week. Oh my God, you fucking asshole! Why isn't it free? Well, because I'm giving you 5 hours of comedy a week. $1.50 doesn't seem like that much of a thing to me. Oh, you're a greedy cocksucker. If I told you, believe me, the letters I get from people, because Joe asked me last night, he goes, you ever thought about going to a pay format, like a subscription format? I said, yeah, I thought about it for 4 seconds. I go, and then there's no way I could pull it off. I said, first of all, my numbers would plummet. He goes, you don't think you have enough of a core audience now that people would follow you to a subscription format? I said, no, I really don't, because I think people are used to getting it for free. And I should say this, I don't want to do a subscription format because I'm still growing as a show. Why would I wall it off to the people who like me now? You know what I mean? Because every time I do a new show, I wind up getting a bump. Every time I do a new show, people want to listen. And I get enough grief from people now who want to know why I only have 5 episodes up. And I go, well, because that gives you a taste of who I am. You can listen. Because, I mean, you know what? I got news for you. If I leave 5 episodes up, that's probably 12 hours of comedy. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm only got like 30 seconds of fucking snippets up there. I mean, literally each show is over, an hour, 2 hours, whatever the fuck. So it might be 5 episodes, but it's 10 hours of comedy. That's 10 fucking albums, 10 stand-up albums you got for free out there. And then if you like them, you can go and pay a small nominal fee at the website and get the rest. I would never do that. People are furious. They won't pay. $25. Who do you think you are? I think I'm a guy selling what he does. You would think nothing of going and spending $25 for lunch, ever. Well, lunch seems high. I would pay $25 for lunch. Depends on where you went. Folks, did I tell you I went to sushi last night? I got steamrolled. So Joe is a guy who wanted to see me in Atlanta, but he couldn't. So instead, he bought tickets and then saw me here. Stacy, on the other hand, is a guy who's like, he's written me. He's a very cool guy. Stacy is a guy who I actually alluded to him on here also a couple of weeks ago because Stacy was in town for the NAMM Guitar Convention down in Orange County. And he was like, dude, I can't wait to be out there. It's going to be great. We can hook up, maybe Lily. We can have lunch or something. I said, great, that'll be fine. And then he wrote me and he's like, great. So can you come to Orange County? It'll be awesome. You'll meet me. And I'm like, no, I can't. No, that can't happen. I barely want to leave my house. I'm going to drive. It's great. I want to meet you and it's fine. But I mean, dude, you want me to drive fucking 50 miles to meet you? That seems crazy. And so then he wrote me and he was like, "Oh my God, I didn't even think about the length of the time and the distance." And again, as always, he thought I was really mad, or other people think I'm really mad. So I explained to him. I was like, "Oh yeah, it's a comedy show." And he gets that. Everybody gets that. So in Atlanta, so now I got no Joe, and I got no Ed, because Ed is far too busy brooding in a smoke-filled bar, posing for photographs, fake photographs. So at least I know Stacy, backup plan Stacy is there. And you're not really a backup plan. I don't know, fucking idiot. I don't mean it like that. I mean that unfortunately, there was other people who jumped in ahead of the, leaped in. And that's not even true because Stacy, hey, he's been asking me since fucking, November, I think, about when I was coming to, because when the Kickstarter thing started, he jumped in and he's like, I want to do it. But then, people gave $300 and Stacy also contributed, but he didn't give that much, but he gave some. And it didn't matter. I knew when I would be there anyway. I'd see him at the show. It didn't fucking, who cares? So sure enough, I know I'm going to be there Wednesday. And Thursday night, I was thinking about going to the Hawks game, possibly the Atlanta Hawks game, for no reason. I mean, I don't care about Atlanta and Golden State. I don't care about it. But I figure if I'm in town and I can see a sporting event and do something Atlanta-wise, that would be fun. And also the tickets are super cheap online for those teams that aren't good, because nobody goes to those games. So that was a possibility, I thought. And I'm like, well, now I have Wednesday and Thursday. It all depends on who claims me. And I know Joe's not going to claim me now. And it's funny, now that I put this into the ether, I can't imagine Frances not grabbing a train and going to Atlanta, right? Doesn't she have to? Oh my God, it's going to be, oh my God, I just got an email. I'm going to be there. Oh God, no. I'm going to get literally, I'm going to see just an email correspondence from 5 different addresses, and it's just going to say Atlanta. So I wrote Stacy today because he wrote me in January and he's like, hey man, has anybody claimed you for your mandate or whatever in Atlanta? And he's written me on Twitter, hey man, what's the status on sushi? What's the status on sushi in Atlanta? What's going on? What's happening? Because he's tried to get me to come to Birmingham and play there's a big comedy club there he wanted me to play. Stacy's, for a year he's been trying to get me there and he's so excited. And I can't wait too. I'm very excited to go to Atlanta. It was one of the main reasons that Kickstarter, they're Alice and John are people on Facebook who I think they maybe even started the page. And Thomas is in Atlanta. All these people were like, Atlanta, we really want you to come. And by the way, these people that I'm naming individually, who's going to be at the Atlanta show. It's going to be those 4 people and then 10 of Joe's friends wondering what the fuck they're doing there. Because I busted his balls at dinner last night. He goes, yeah, he told Karen, he goes, yeah, I bought 10 tickets and gave them to my friend. I go, yeah, thanks, buddy. He goes, yeah, Mike gave me a rash of shit on the fucking show last week. And then first of all, I was taken aback that he swore. I mean, I was like, you're wearing nice clothes. Stop swearing. Yeah, it was weird. But Karen said, oh, really? And he goes, yeah, Mike made fun of me on the show last week. I go, because it's going to be terrible. I go, you're going to send these people who have no idea who the fuck I am to sit in a room and just stare. They're going to hate it. And he goes, no. He goes, the second I told them about you and I bought the tickets, they all downloaded shows and they listened. They know about you now. And I'm like, doesn't mean they like me. Doesn't mean they want to sit in a room with me. Just because they downloaded the shows, just because you like me, Joe. I mean, I appreciate it. But Jesus, you can't convince 10 people to like me. I can't even convince 10 people to like me. So sure enough, Joe anticipates that they're going to be great. So it's going to be those 10 people, along with, like I mentioned, that John and Alice and Thomas and Stacy. So Stacy, like I said, he's so excited to get me there. So I finally wrote him this morning, and I said, hey, I go, you know what? I have Wednesday and Thursday. I said, whatever you want to do, let me know. I said, I was thinking about the Hawks game on Thursday, and there's been a couple restaurants refer to me. Somebody told me about Mary Mac's Tea Room, which is authentic Southern cooking. And then there's a place called the Wood Fire Grill, I think it's called, that I really want to go to because the chef there was on Top Chef and should have won. And also Richard Blaze has Flip Burger, which I think I'm going to go to while I'm in town too. I'm going to be, that's Saturday's lunch with Joel, I think, is I'm going to go to Flip Burger. That's Richard Blaze's burger joint. But, yeah, sad. I know. Horrible. But the kid who runs Greenfield Cafe or Woodfire Grill, or what the fuck, Greenfield Cafe? Why did I name it that? It's called Woodfire Grill, I think. And he looks like my brother Glenn. Like when we watched Top Chef, we kept saying, oh, we got rooting for Glenn. Glenn's got to win. Gay Glenn has to win because he was totally gay Glenn. Yeah, so I want to go to his joint. And then I went today to his website to look at the menu, and it's like, fucking pork loin for $32, and then a starter was like kale with fried cashews, and I'm just like, oh, awesome! I can't wait. So I told Stacy, I go, you know what? I go, Woodfire Grill's the leader in the clubhouse. I go, but Mary Mac's I've been referred to as well. I've heard it's very good Southern cooking. I'm excited. And I saw on his Facebook page he was in New York for the day. So I go, I know you're in New York today, but just letting you know that I'm available Wednesday, Thursday. Pick one, and well, that'll be great. And he wrote me back within 20 minutes. I took a shower. I got out, and he said, hey, I'm in New York because my boss decided that we needed to come up here for some work. I won't be back to Atlanta till Friday. No, there was no awe. There was no, oh, dude, I'm so sorry, or oh, I'd really love to hook up with you, or I'd love to see you. It was just, fuck you. I won't be there till Friday.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. Literally, this guy every day, has Francised me with course on Twitter and on emails. That's a lie, not every day, but he's been very adamant about. He wanted me to come out there for, like you say, 8 months. And we've had a great correspondence. He's donated to the show. He's really cool. And then sure enough, I go, hey, I'll be there. Yeah, Friday maybe. It's like just this weird, like I was bothering him. You know what I mean? And I just wrote him back. And it's so funny. Like it's that thing where, look, I know I read emails weird. All right, I'm sure he didn't mean it like that. But it doesn't matter because what it was the crushing weight of the fact that everybody was all these gung-ho about seeing me. So I scheduled a trip out there on Wednesday. The show's not till Friday. I don't even fucking be there till Friday afternoon, for fuck's sake. But I go, you know what? Go out there Wednesday, and then you'll see people. It'll be great. It'll be fun. And now I'm going to be sitting in a motherfucking hotel room on Wednesday and Thursday doing nothing, just staring. So when you hear this, know that I'm sitting in my room staring. Because, I get there Wednesday. I get there Wednesday afternoon at 3. So, I got nothing to do that night. And in my head, I'm like, what am I going to do in Atlanta? And I'm like, wait a minute. It's the South. Aren't there strip clubs like Full Contact?
Yeah.
I think they're pretty. They got to be Full Contact, right? But then I'm like, I don't want to go Googling Full Contact strip clubs because that does not look good at all. By the way, I don't know if you're aware of that. Atlanta Full Contact strip clubs. That is not something you want to Google. So this morning I Googled Atlanta Full Contact strip clubs because I was down, folks. I was down. I was kicked when I was down. I got no Joe in Atlanta, no Stacy in Atlanta. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. I'm going to be sitting in a hotel room staring. And you know what's funny to me? That's where my brain went. Literally, Full Contact strip clubs. It's Atlanta. How much rich history is in Atlanta? There's got to be Civil War bullshit in school that I can go look at down there, right? I can go take a ride to Antietam and grab a pen. I don't know what the fuck they got going on down there. Look, and please, I don't know where Antietam is. I don't need letters from you Civil War geniuses. And by the way, if the White House is listening to this, I would never do that. I don't know if that's bad. To go to the Civil War place and grab a pen. I will not grab a pen, and I will never go to the Department of Defense and hit the Paraguay button. I promise. It's just not going to happen. And I say this because I know that the White House now is going to listen to all of my shows. And actually, you know what, folks? That's why I only have 5 shows up to listen to. Because I knew eventually that the White House would come around sniffing around, and they would want to listen to all of my archives and to sift through them. Fuck you, White House. You got to pay for the privilege. You got to put me as a line item in your next budget. I can't wait to see that. $60 Lord of the Schmidt set. I'm the one who put the budget over the top. State of the Union address. He puts it out there, and the Republicans are like, no. Actually, that'd be the one thing everybody can agree on. Fuck you. They all stand up and clap. $60 for the Lord of the Schmidt set, and they would laugh uproariously and enjoy themselves. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. Now I'm lonely in Atlanta. I got nobody. I got nothing. So now I'm chasing people. That's the thing I want to fucking avoid on the road. I don't want to fucking write people and go, hey, do you want to hang out? No, they're supposed to pursue me, motherfucker. I'm the lady in this relationship. Jesus Christ. I tarred myself up. I got my heels on. You gotta make me feel special. All right? Don't make me come looking for you. Lady doesn't return a phone call. Open doors for me, motherfucker. Pay for my fucking stuff. You heard me, Mooly. Pay for my fucking candy. That's the funniest line in Raw. Goddamn. Yeah, Eddie Murphy Raw. See it immediately. I get into fights with people all the time. Not all the time. Yeah, that happens all the time. I have these, oh my God, these colossal fights with people over which is better, Delirious or Raw. Because I have friends who love Delirious, Eddie Murphy Delirious, because it's, you have Ralph Norton and Ralph Cramden fucking in the ass and all that stuff. Hey, no, how would you like to fuck me in the ass? I remember watching it with guys in high school, staring at it, watching it over and over on HBO. One time, we all went to fucking Eric Smith's house. We were doing this thing where every Monday night, we would go to a different guy's house for Monday Night Football and watch the games, which was great. We should do that now, guys. We should get a cabin. We should all get together and go to Eric Smith and go to Eric Smith's cabin and watch the game. Oh my God, it'd be fantastic. But we would all get together on Monday night and watch the game. And I remember the game was the New York Giants and the Detroit Lions. It was boring as fuck and nobody cared. And then we went, you know what? Fuck this. We can't watch this. And we turned on Delirious and we watched Delirious at his house. And it was like the third time I had seen it, but the first time I'd seen it with my friends and we were just going crazy. So there's a soft spot in my heart for Delirious because it's fantastic. But Raw is fucking fantastic. The whole Eddie Murphy half Eddie Murphy. Yeah, you treat me like animal. God damn it! It is fucking Raw is amazing. To me, Raw is a million times better than Delirious because he's mad. I like rage in my comedy. I like a little anger. I like a little. Yeah, I do. I like a little bit of an anger. And for him to bring that to the table in that one, and look, he's sure enough, he's doing the fucking Black Elvis thing. He's got the stupid suit on and the fucking silhouette, but it doesn't matter. That fucking Rocky thing with the Italian dude who wants to fight the black guy at the end of the movie, he goes up to the dude and he goes, "Hey, give me some jujubes, some popcorn, some of those candies, and give me a Coke, and fucking nigger's gonna pay for it." How do you not die at that line? Black guy says, "Excuse me? You heard me, Mooly. Pay for my fucking candy." Holy those 3 lines alone are worth the entire hour and a half or whatever the fuck it is. Fucking brilliant. So brilliant. Oh, amazing. Amazingly funny. So I don't even know how I got into that. But seriously, now I got to chase people in Atlanta. I don't want to fucking do that. Hey, please, do you want to? So I wrote Alice today because Alice then wrote me, and she also said, "Hey, is there any way my friends and I can hang out with you?" But the thing is, I think Alice is 9. I mean, it's like I don't. So I wrote her and I'm like, "Look, I was thinking about going to the Hawks game and possibly to this restaurant, but your friends are a lot younger than me. I'm sure you don't want to go eat." I don't know if they eat. They just drink. They pregame and then they postgame and then in between they drink. That's all they do, I'm sure. Alice and John are off drinking, but they wrote me and they're nice. So then I had to reach out to her, and I felt so stupid because I'm like, her and her friends are going to be so young, and the thing is, she's like me and my friends, and I know Alice likes me, and her friends have no interest in me whatsoever. They're like, "Who's this fat white idiot from Los Angeles? What the fuck are you making us do? We don't want to talk to this guy. We live in Atlanta. There's cool things here. We love being here." And Alice is going to be like, "Well, no, he's really funny." And they're like, "We don't care. He's old. He wants to eat. He wants to go to a restaurant. What the fuck is that? How 20th century is this idiot? Let's drink something fun." And then I just sit there like a fat chaperone. God damn it. With Alice and her friends. She's got like some sorority group. And it's like, and look, unless you're going to go wear boy shorts and have a pillow fight, you don't want me around. Actually, you know what's funny? You don't want me around if you're going to have boy shorts and a pillow fight. I think I said that incorrectly. All right, let me say it this way. Unless you're going to wear boy shorts and have a pillow fight, I don't want to be around. I don't want to get drunk with you and talk about calculus. Get undressed. Go upstairs, have a pillow fight. I'll climb a ladder and stare at you. Then I'll fall backwards onto my back and go, See if you can guess what I am now, folks. Oh, references. They're fun. So I don't know what to do in Atlanta now. I got no friends, nobody. What is there? There's like, because it's the South. What do you have? Like fucking, you had Dollywood, right? Don't you have Dollywood down there? Isn't that in Atlanta? I don't know. It's in the South. And you're all close to one another, right? Yeah, it's like a drive. It's like Europe. The South is like Europe. Seriously, it's like an hour drive to some other state or some other state capital, and you all hate dark-skinned guys. I mean, it's like literally, France might as well be Georgia, as much as Georgia hates France. Georgia, let's face it, you're France, but instead of smoking, you smoke meat. They wear berets and they smoke, and you wear fucking trucker hats and smoke meat, but it's the same thing. Georgia's like the American version of France. All right, and I'll be there. It'll be fun. We'll go to Dollywood. That's what I'll do. I'll go to Dollywood. I'm in town, which is fine with me because it was funny. I was just I made Lily today listen to. Have you heard the slowed down version of Dolly Parton? And let's put it this way. I brought this up at poker, and I was trying to explain it to guys, and some guy like shouted me down. Like, first of all, he just wanted to play poker, but second of all, he wasn't interested in what I was saying, and I'm like, dude, but I'm here with my fucking friends. All right, we're in a cabin. We're playing poker. We're about to go out and fish. We're having a good time. Shut the fuck up. I hated it. It would just piss me off because I wanted to share it. Because if you go online, if you Google Jolene slowed down or slow, someone took Jolene and 9 to 5, and then he slowed them down to like, it's like if you played a 45 on 33, and it's amazing. It sounds like an unbelievable different singer. Like it still sounds great. It doesn't sound like Dolly Parton, but it shows you what Dolly Parton would sound like if she sang like this. And it's phenomenal. Go listen to it right now. I'll wait. Plug in your tweakedaudio.com/40earbuds and let the slowed down version of Jolene just course right through your fucking brain because it's amazing. And I need to go to Dollywood for another reason. And here's all right, why don't I share this with you folks? There are seminal moments in your life that you remember forever. All right, there are things that happen where you just go, oh my God, and you can't shake it and you can't forget it. And this is totally true. This happened it happened when I was like 16. Okay, and then it happened again when I was like 24. So this is like 8 years later. And now this is 20 years later, and I can still see it vividly. I can tell you exactly. All right. I had a crazy real sex dream about Dolly Parton. Like vividly crazy. I was there. I can right now walk you through it. I see the room. Should we? Let's go. To the point now, I will tell you this right now. This is totally, sadly, and I don't even know why I'm telling you, but who cares? I'm getting a hard on thinking about it. Like literally it's that, yeah, quit looking. But it's that thing where it's like, all of a sudden it starts moving and you're like, all right, because it's that vivid. Like I'm blushing now, even because I had it was the same dream twice but 8 years apart. I can still see it. So I woke up. This is not a joke. This is true. I woke up and went, someday I am going to fuck Dolly Parton. Like I'm not even, it's not even an issue. I know it's going to happen. Like it was that vivid, where I was like, I have to have a shot at her. I don't know what it was. I became obsessed with her and I would watch everything she did. I would see her. Well, of course, it's the huge wreck, but also she's so crazy cute, like so amazingly cute when she opens her mouth and talks and the laugh and everything. She would do Letterman, and I would fucking stare. I couldn't help myself. To this day, I'm the same. But I'm the same way. Even though now she looks like a skeleton with a wig on. Even though now she's literally she looks like the drawing of a stick. You ever see this? Like that drawing of you, that Sandra and Mike sent us. There's a stick figure drawing of Lily. It's just a stick figure with two round fucking circles on it. That's what Dolly Parton looks like in real life now. But I don't care. It does not matter to me. And I know if you stripped her down for parts, like if you took her aside and you took off the wig and the bra and the mole and the makeup and everything like that, she would look like an apple you had left in the sun. I mean, literally, she would just be this brown husk, like she'd be all dried out and bent over. But as long as she opened her mouth and talked, I wouldn't fucking care. It would be like sticking your dick in beef jerky, and I would not fucking care. Because that's got to be what she's. Because again, that was another thing. Is she's another one who's rumored to be a switch hitter, like because she was with what, Porter Wagner or whatever forever, and then she married whoever, the idiot with the jacket, and then she wound up marrying the other guy.
The other idiot with the jacket.
Yeah. Who literally he just. That's the thing. Like Anne Margaret was with Roger Smith forever, but you know that she was fucking everything that moved because she's goddamn Aunt Margaret. Yeah. And so I'm just waiting my turn. I have my number. It's like a deli wheel, and I have my number, waiting for it to come up, Ann. But Dolly Parton also, then she married a dude, but then she was one of those people who was inseparable with a chick. Like she had a girlfriend that she went with everywhere, and she always joked about the lesbian thing. Like she would always make jokes about it and stuff. But she did. Because she would always say it was like a rumor, and she would joke about it and stuff. Maybe that was in my dream. Hold on a second. Maybe that was.
I think it was.
That was our first conversation. I was like, so you're kind of a lesbian? She's like, well, I don't know about all that. And there we go. Off we went to the races. Literally, I fucked her at the races. First the horse races, then we went to the car races. We went all over the place. I fucked her at the chariot races. We went back to ancient Rome. It's a dream, folks. We can do whatever the fuck we want. My head's a time machine, and in it, me and Dolly Parton are fucking all over the timeline. I'm not going to go back in time and kill Hitler. I'm going to go back and fuck Dolly Parton while I'm killing Hitler. Fuck all that. I'm going to kill Hitler with Dolly Parton. I'm going to bang the shit out of her and then pick her up by her ankles and swing her like a baseball bat and fucking knock Hitler's head off his shoulders. That's what Hitler deserves. He deserves to die at the hands of a Dolly Parton because that's his ideal. Are you kidding me? When Hitler was thinking master race, you don't think he was thinking about Dolly Parton? Crazy huge tits, blonde, fucking crazy white skin. She's the ideal. She's the embodiment of the master race, Dolly Parton. It would be ironic to kill Hitler with Dolly Parton because that's all he dreamed of. That's what he was aspiring to. All of the camps, all of the Holocaust. It was all built to engineer a Dolly Parton. That's what he wanted, an army of Dolly Partons, a race of Dolly Partons. And you know what? Even with all of his efforts and then being fucking squashed, she still came along, even without his help. See? This shows Hitler how wrong he was. That's, I don't even kill him. I go back and I bring Dolly Parton and I go, look at her. She showed up even though you were fucking thwarted. That's right, you're getting thwarted in a couple of years. Stop your efforts because eventually this will happen. And then she will smile and I'll bang the shit out of her right there and Eva Braun will get us a drink. All right. That's right. What's Eva Braun doing? Fucking Hitler? No, we're not doing a four-way. That's not happening. I'm not having a four-way with Hitler. He gets to watch me bang Dolly Parton. That would seem weird. Why would I go back and make Hitler watch me fuck Dolly Parton? I would. You know what? I make him leave and I fuck her in his office. And I make Himmler and Goering come in and watch. All right. So, I don't know why am I hanging out with the Nazis? Why don't I eradicate them? I'm there. Do something about it. Why the fuck I bring Dolly? Why do I even bring Dolly Parton with me? That doesn't make any sense. If you're going to go back and take care of the Nazis, you don't bring the beautiful country singer you want to bone. You bring the country singer who has your back in a bar fight. That's who you bring. You bring Merle Haggard. That's who I bring if I want to eradicate the Nazis. Me and Earl Haggard are hopping in the fucking time machine with Bill and Ted, and we are fucking Hitler up. Merle Haggard's insane. I bet, you know what, if he went, because he's dead. Actually, I guess I got to go back and make him and grab the live Merle Haggard. Hold on. This plan is falling apart. I had such a great plan to bring a country singer with me to kill the Nazis. Why is it falling apart before my very eyes? If only I'd thought of it 10 years ago. Fuck. But we didn't have the technology. Now we do. Now I do. Now I go back 5 years, I pick up Merle, and then we go back and we kill Hitler. That's what we do. And you know what would happen if I went back 5 years and I saw Merle Haggard and he's like, who are you? And I go, hey, I'm from the future. I'm picking you up so we can go back and kill Hitler. He's like, let's go. Merle Haggard is in. He doesn't fucking care. The guy's got a Derringer in his boot and a razor in his shoe. He's like bad Leroy Brown, only he's fucking bad Merle Haggard. He's got a .32 gun in his pocket full of fun, for fuck's sake. We're going to go back and take care of Hitler right fucking now. Me and Merle Haggard. And Bill and Ted. They have to go because they know how to operate the machine. I have no idea how to operate the machine. And plus, Merle Haggard has to go speak at their San Dimas, their thing, and talk about how the football team rules, and then do a song. Oh, awesome. That's okay. Yeah, that's it. Me and Merle Haggard are going back to kill Hitler. All right, so. What the fuck was I talking about? Atlanta. Boring Atlanta, where I'll be sitting in a hotel room staring. Richard Jewell isn't even there for me to call. I could call that guy. Seriously, at least he knows the town. Yeah. Maybe when I go back in time, I go back and I grab Richard Jewell. That's what I do. I grab Richard Jewell. Actually, I would grab him and take him away so he wouldn't get wrongfully accused. I save Richard Jewell. That poor dude. That security guard who lived with his mom. And they're like, hey, this guy blew up the Olympics. All right. Terrible is that? Dude, everybody's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Richard Jewell, why? He's dead. And yet, Shane Stant lives on. As does Jeff Gillooly. All right. These are more tangential Olympic participants.
Oh, Christ.
Shane Stant actually won the gold in wave crippling.
Oh, man.
Come on, wave crippling off the top of my head.
Oh, man.
Why are you not eating with me, Atlanta? I just came up with wave crippling off the top of my head. And you shun me as a town en masse. You turn your kudzu-covered shoulders to me. You turn your peach juice-soaked backs to me. What the hell? By the way, if somehow a Mexican can get a hold of one of your peach-soaked shirts, oh my God. If there's a Mexican guy in Atlanta with a peach-soaked shirt, just ring it out and make me a fucking drink. Oh. There's no Mexican guys in Atlanta. All right. Again, it's like France. They chased them out. I don't think I've talked about anything this show, have I? You know what's funny? You guys don't know. Well, I do the show, and then I got to call David and ask him if he can do a painting for the show. And if he, he has whatever. And because it's Tuesday, he has plenty of time and he's going to need that time this time. Because he'll say, well, what happened in the show? And sometimes there's a central story or a central theme, and I can tell him about it. But other times I call him, and I'm like, you know what, dude? You know Lester Hayes of the Raiders? Like, it's like he had a garden sprinkler, and then there was a play. And I'm trying to tell him, and he's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but I will do what I can. And then, of course, whatever he comes up with is genius. But it doesn't. I'm no help. You know what I mean? And this particular show, I don't even know where to fucking start. So, dude, me and Dolly Parton went to kill Hitler. He's like, oh, okay. Sounds good. Click. Because, I mean, our phone calls will take a half hour. I'll sit there and I'll tell him stuff and I'll tell him more stuff. And he's going, I don't know what you're saying. And I'm going, exactly. I don't either. Nobody likes me. I know that. Nobody likes me. In Atlanta, nobody likes me. And everybody wants to send me emails. That's all I know. And I'm going to the White House. And I have a time machine. What? And Marky Ramone wrote me and I did an impression of him. Okay. Literally, I don't know how to describe this show. I have no idea. So whatever the painting is, when you look down right now in the corner, look in your iPod or wherever you have, if you have a hologram, I have no how you handle your lives. But if you can look at the artwork, just know he made that up out of whatever bullshit I threw at him. And I'm sure it matches. And you know what's funny? I haven't said a fucking thing at all. Like there's nothing on this show because I will tell you this. I recorded other podcasts this week. I'll go ahead and plug those. I was going to plug them at the end of the show, but I'll plug them now. Why not? I was on the Comedy Film Nerds Oscar wrap-up show, which actually is available right now if you go to download Comedy Film Nerds. And we talked about the Oscars and stuff. And that was Sunday night after the Oscars. But Sunday morning, I participated in a recording of the Never Not Funny Presents Rock Solid podcast featuring my friends Pat Francis and Gary Lucy. And Matt Belknap, of course, is the producer. And Matt was chiming in occasionally. But here's the thing that makes me laugh. We talked about Van Halen because a lot of people have been writing me and they're like, dude, what do you think of the new Van Halen? What do you think of the new Van Halen? And believe me, I have wanted to talk about it over and fucking over. Like I wanted to just deluge you with it and bore you to tears with it. And I wanted to, but Pat told me, he goes, we're going to do a Van Halen show with you. And not just about the new album, but all of Van Halen. So I want you to, and so I knew I was doing that. So I didn't want to belabor the point and crush you guys with it because you guys are very nice. And whenever I do another show, sometimes you will listen to it. And I didn't want you to have to listen to a lot of the same points made on my show and have to hear me on that show. But here's the point I'm getting to. Oh, and first of all, and it's funny because Gary, last time I saw Gary, I didn't think we were cool. So now Gary's the co-host of Pat's show, which is, of course, as I mentioned, Never Not Funny Presents Rock Solid, the podcast. And they have their thing. And so here's what I did. I'm so dumb. I said to Pat, I go, hey, you need to see if Gary's cool with me. Because I did something that probably wasn't cool. I don't even know. Look, you know me, all right? I think everything I do is wrong. But something happened and there was an abrupt ending to a relationship that I had with Gary. So, which is fine, except for the fact that now I'm going to be in a room with him recording and he has to pretend to like me. And he might still like me. I don't know. Again, you know me. I transpose. I put all of my fucking feelings in somebody else where I'm like, I think this is going to be weird. And the other guy's like, this isn't weird at all. What the fuck is wrong with you? So I said to Pat, I go, hey, you need to make sure that Gary's cool with me. And he's like, well, it's fine, whatever, it's no problem. So sure enough, I showed up and Gary was very nice. Everybody's very nice. And I sat down and we're just about to record. And I go, hey, before we record, are we cool? And Gary's like, what? And I go, I just want to make sure we're cool because the last thing that you and I had going on was it ended and I didn't know if that was me or what happened. And he's like, no, we're fine. Like he wanted to not talk about it at all. And right before we're going to record their podcast, I bring this weird, I just vomit weird all over the table. Hey, by the way, are you and I cool? Because that thing happened. Remember that thing that happened like 8 months ago? And he's just like, yeah, it's fine. Don't worry. I don't know. Is that what you're thinking of? Really? That's what you're, and I'm like, I don't know. I wanted to make sure. And you can just see Pat and Matt are like, what the fuck are you doing? Are you you're still this guy? Matt's like, this is why you don't work with me anymore. And Pat is like, this is why I don't see you at lunch anymore. Because I come in and just literally just exploded like the alien of weird burst out of my stomach and shot across the table and Yaphet Kotto made a face. God damn it. Mosley. All right. So, that's a double Yaphet Kotto. That's a Yaphet Kotto from Alien and a Yaphet Kotto from Midnight Run, which is fucking brilliant. So, folks, so I did that just to make sure to amp up the awkward quotient. But to his credit, Gary just kind of let it roll off his back and was like, whatever the fuck, dude, fine. And then we talked about Rock Solid, Never Not Funny Presents Rock Solid, the podcast, and I talked about Van Halen, about the songs, the previous songs, the albums. And Pat had written me, and he's like, dude, pick your 6 ultimate Van Halen songs. And folks, that's ridiculous. I can't pick 6 ultimate Van Halen songs. That's like saying to Rick Santorum, pick your 6 favorite kids. Because he's got, what's he got, 8? Actually, you know what? He's such a duplicitous cocksucker. I'm sure he would pick his 6 favorite kids. Because the other 2 did something bad at dinner, so they're now at the bottom of the list. He seems like the kind of guy who'd rank his kids in order of how much he loves them. I'm not going to get into that. All right, so, although, oh my God, I want him to win. I want him to win so fucking bad. Please win. Every time he says a crazy thing, I'm torn. Because it makes me want him to win more, but it makes me want him to shut the fuck up and not say that crazy stuff until after he wins. Oh my God, do I want him to just fucking scale it back and just kind of stealthily win against me? I want him to just be like, hey, I'm not Mitt Romney and I'm not a Mormon, and there's enough hate in this country to go, yeah, that's going to carry him to victory, which is fine. But I still think the anti-Mormon, the I'm not a Mormon is stronger than the I'm not a black guy. I have faith in this country. Because everybody's like, why do you want Santorum to win and get him one step closer to the White House? Are you kidding me? He will be fucking trounced. That's going to be the best part, because it's like, here's the analogy. Like I want to say, I actually wrote it on my buddy's Facebook wall because he put up the thing about this, because this weekend Santorum said, separation of church and state makes me sick. Is that what he said? And I laughed my ass off. I go, why is he, I even wrote, I go, why is he saying this now? Why didn't he wait until the convention at his acceptance speech? Because, you know, here's how it would have worked. They would have been going crazy in the Santorum signs, and he would have gotten up there and he would have started to give his crazy fucking speech. And he would have started talking about birth control and Catholicism, and then all of a sudden we got into like neutering people and killing the 5th girl baby, and women should not be allowed to have orgasms, and then female genital mutilation. And in the middle of the speech, all of a sudden, me and Dolly Parton appear on the stage, and we just kill him. That is not where I was going with that, but it popped into my head, and I fucking ran with it. No, fuck that. What I was going to say. Oh, how great. All right, so. Now do you want to, you know, it's not going to be as funny. It's not even as funny, this one. God damn it, but I'm going to say it anyway because it's stuck in my fucking head. You ever seen the movie Dave?
Yes.
Everybody? Have you ever seen the movie Dave where Kevin Kline is the president that everybody in the world would want to be president? The coolest president in the world? Well, in that movie, his chief of staff is Frank Langella, and he's kind of pulling the strings on him. But then Kevin Kline says, fuck you, and kind of puts him at arm's length and then fires him. So then Langella's got all this dirt on the old president, and he's like, haha, I'm going to release it. It's going to be amazing. And then he's going to run for president himself, Langella. So at the end of the movie, what it is Kevin Kline does a State of the Union address, and with all of these horrible scandals and things like that sticking to him from Langella. And they keep cutting to Langella's suite where he's sitting there with all these signs, Langella for president, and all of his, these fucking supporters are there, and it's streamers and confetti and food and straw hats and bullshit. And then Kevin Kline proceeds to cop to everything and then reveal that Langella was also behind it, and Langella was the guy who was the puppet master and did all of the bad things and was the main guy. And then they cut to Langella's suite. And it's just Frank Langella sitting in a chair by himself with like signs falling on the ground, and he's ankle deep in confetti, but it's now sad confetti. Well, that's what it would have been like if Santorum, that's what it's going to be like if he wins, and he would hold his crazy tongue until the fucking convention, because everybody's going to be like, yay, Santorum, and he's going to go up there and he's going to be at the podium and he's going to be giving his speech, and then he's going to start talking about, like maybe we shouldn't let women have orgasms, and then maybe women shouldn't work. And by the way, the scary guy in the sky that tells me things has told me that women should also stay at home and only have babies and have sex if they want to have babies, and start saying all this crazy shit. And then people would just start streaming for the exits as they realized that they backed the complete wrong fucking horse. And then in the room, the only people left in there would be the yay, at least he's still not a Mormon people. Like, yay. He believes in the weird ghost that we believe in instead of the other weird ghosts that everybody else believes in. I am astonished that this country is still debating contraception and ladies' orgasms. And I was telling Lily, I fully anticipate like going to vote, and then when I open the voting booth afterwards, that noise, I'll be in a black and white malt shop with women in poodle skirts tittering, and everybody talking about how they got to first base, and then Danny Zuko's going to dance by. What the fuck? What is wrong with this country? Who among you is concerned with contraception and babies and female orgasms and sex and abortion? What? Who fucking cares? Gas is $5. I'm anti-abortion just because I got to fucking drive there. Jesus Christ. Gas is $5, motherfucker. What do you give a shit about what women do with their bodies and whether gays get married? Why do you interfere in people's lives? Who the fuck cares? Raise your kids. It's like the other night at the fucking Oscars, I guess, Billy Crystal, the bridesmaids came up and they did the thing about the long cock, big cock, thick cock, short cock. And they, of course, every dick joke in the world, haha, great. They're dirty girls, and the funny thing that made me laugh was even the crowd was like, "Oh, really, you guys didn't see dick jokes coming? Fine, I mean, because I guess it was a safe night already at that point." But then, sure enough, the next day online, people are like, "Couldn't ABC have talked to the bridesmaids actresses about this garbage? My children were watching. Oh my fucking God!" So you know what you do? You look at your kids and you go, "You know what? Those girls are dirty harlots. Don't be like them." That's it. That's how you get out of it. If your child is corrupted by a dick joke that a woman made, and I fully believe it was because it was women. If a guy went up and said some dick joke, everybody would have been like, ha ha, hilarious. But instead, no, they're like, oh my, these girls and their dirty potty mouths. I can't, potty mouth. If you ever say potty mouth, kill yourself. Fucking drown yourself in your toilet. You deserve it. That's the quality of water you deserve in your lungs when you die. Potty mouth. Oh my God. Unless you're talking to children, I get that. That's fine. But if you say it in regular correspondence with people, what are you saying? What did I say?
Why is it fine to talk to children like
Because
that?
you choose to speak to your children any single way that you want. Your family unit, go ahead and raise it and do whatever you want. But what I'm saying is make your home a fortress of solitude, for fuck's sake. All right? Because you know what? I'm sure it's just as cold as the fortress of solitude in your house. If you're offended by swears. And again, if you're offended by swears and that's who you are, I respect that. Be that person. But don't tell me I can't be who I am. Don't tell other people they can't be who they are. Raise your family the way you want to raise it. If you want to believe in Jesus, you want to believe in God, you want to follow the letter of what the Pope says and all of those people. Because that's the thing. Dude, Santorum, if you vote for Santorum, you realize that everybody's like, oh, he's the leader of the free world. If you vote for Rick Santorum, he's no longer the leader of the free world. The Pope is the leader of the free world. Because that's who Rick Santorum takes his fucking orders from. That's who Rick Santorum, because he's even said that. He's like, I'm a Catholic and, the Pope is infallible. He said those things. So who do you think he's going to get his orders from? The fucking Vatican. And then, we all read the Da Vinci Code. We know what happens then, right? Rick Santorum gets in the White House. It's only a matter of time before the albino fucking angels swoop into this nation. And then Tom Hanks has to get that haircut again and nobody's happy. It's the fall of this nation. If Rick Santorum gets into the White House, eventually the albino demon and the angels go swooping in, and then Tom Hanks gets that stupid haircut, and we're fucked. Fucked! You're better than that, people.
Oh
Did that sound good? Was that right? Folks, so I didn't see that movie. Did not read the book either. I don't know that. I just know that albino guy's in there. I don't know if he's an angel or a demon. That's why I threw it in there. I don't know what the fuck he was. But he's coming. Omar's coming. Eli coming. All right. So Eli's coming. Omar coming. All right. So the fuck was I talking about before I rampaged? Van Halen. Folks. So again, if we've learned anything over the last 6 minutes, we've learned that I could not possibly pick my ultimate 6 Van Halen songs. So I sat down. The only good thing was it made me revisit the catalog, which I mean, I like listening to it, but to listen to it and actually put some thought behind it because I knew I was going to be able to talk about it, which is, that's all I want. All I want to do is talk about Van Halen. That's it. That's all I want in my life. So sure enough, I sat down and I started picking together, I tried to go with iconic moments in Van Halen history, but also stuff that I personally like that's important to me. So I actually, because my all-time favorite song by Van Halen is "Hear About It Later" off of Fair Warning, which by the way, folks, they did it live. They're on tour and they're playing like deep album cuts. Like the first night they played "Out of Love" and Out of Love Again and Women in Love off of Van Halen 2. Are you fucking joking? They haven't played those live since 1979 and 1980. And you don't care. That's fine. You don't care. But I don't need to hear Running with the Devil. Like when I go live, I don't want to hear You Really Got Me and Running with the Devil. I don't need to hear Jump. I don't need to hear Panama. All the stuff that I've heard over and over and over. If they did all of the fucking deep album cuts, I would lose my fucking mind. So online, when I see these set lists and they played Out of Love Again and then they played Women in Love, I was like, dude, I can't fucking believe it. Then they started playing Girl Gone Bad off 1984, which is also a deep album cut. And I'm like, this is amazing. Then in Indianapolis, dudes, fuck, are you kidding? They played, I was on Twitter and it said, Van Halen played Hear About It Later at Soundcheck tonight in Indianapolis. And I'm not kidding you. I couldn't sit still. Like I sat up. What? Because they haven't played that since 81 on the live tour. And actually, if because there were people who actually figured this shit out. I think it said they haven't played it since July 29th of 1981, which means they have not played this since my 14th birthday. That was the last time they played this fucking song live, folks. So I sure enough, I went in and I immediately flew to YouTube the next day because I'm like, I got to see it. And it's all over YouTube. And they played it after Chinatown, which is one of the fucking greatest songs on the new album. And the best part is Dave, after Chinatown ended, Dave just goes, Chinatown, you're in our town now. And then they played fucking Hear About It Later. And Eddie starts, it's got this guitar intro. And anybody who's seen the One Man, and you don't care, nobody notices, but I put together the music for the One Man beforehand. I have like the music that plays in the theater. That's always on there. Hear About It Later is always on there. And it's because it's my favorite Van Halen song. And I'm 9 years old. So maybe I will fit in with John and Alice in Atlanta. And all their friends. We'll go to a sandbox. That's what we'll do. Woodfire Grill is out. We're going to a sandbox to play. And then I will tell them all about Van Halen, and they'll go, wow, we're a different 9 than you are. We're really 9. You're 9 in your brain. But I didn't want to pick Hear About It Later. I did, but I was trying to keep to the theme of the show. Like I wanted to expose people to stuff, but I also wanted to tell them, whatever. The bottom line is I did Never Not Funny presents Rock Solid, the podcast talking about Van Halen. And I picked 6 iconic moments, then Pat picked some. So we're sitting there, and I think you may have noticed, I could talk about Van Halen all fucking day. And Pat said that even during the show. He goes, you and I we've talked about this for hours on the phone, and we have. Yeah, I will talk about Van Halen forever with him. Because that's my band, that's my album, that's who, if I had to go, I said it on there, if I had to go to they have Desert Island discs, and you had to go to the Desert Island and bring I would bring Van Halen Fair Warning. That's what I would bring. If I only got one album, I'd bring Fair Warning. If I only got one song, it would be Hear About It Later. If I could only bring one rock star, it would be Marky Ramone. Hey, Mike, I got the firewood. What do you want to build this fire tonight? I think when the tide comes in, it's going to be dangerous. Did you catch any fish? Me and Marky Ramone are stranded on a desert island. All right. God damn it, that made me laugh. All right, so I just like doing my Marky Ramone impression. Hey, Mike, I tell you what, I saw a monkey in a jungle. You think if we kill it and ate it, it'd be a problem? I think they're supposed to be extinct, right? No, that's not extinct. They're endangered. Well, extinct, yeah, that's what I said. No, extinct means they're not around anymore, Marky. If you saw a monkey, that means he's not extinct. He might be endangered, which means that probably we shouldn't eat him. But fuck it, we're on an island. I'm hungry, man. All right, I'll kill him. All right, so... So we're on the show, and my point being that I did these 2 podcasts. I did the Oscar podcast, and I did the Never Not Funny Presents Rock Solid podcast, and we talk about Van Halen, and we do clips, and I bring my Van Halen knowledge, and also I'm a crazy person, particularly when it gets to Van Halen, because there's a clip in Mean Street that I played. And it's a great Dave clip because it's Dave getting to talk, but in the background you hear Eddie's guitar, and it's like Eddie's guitar keeps trying to overpower Dave. And I said it was a great metaphor for the band because Dave's in the forefront, but then Eddie's in the background, but he keeps sneaking up and he keeps trying to fucking get in there. And then right at the end is this fucking great noise where he just fuck you, Dave, and he jumps in. Whatever, you'll hear it on the show. Go ahead and download because it's out now. It's out today's Thursday, so download the new Never Not Funny Presents Rock Solid podcast because I'm on it. But the reason I bring this up is because I would talk about Van Halen, and I'm talking, and Pat at the table, it was 4 of us at a table. So I'm sitting, and I'm facing Matt Belknap, and on my right is Pat, and on my left is Gary. So they're facing one another, and I'm facing Matt. And as we're talking, I would be talking, and I would see Pat. He would look at Matt, and he would tap his watch. and Matt would nod. and then they would play a clip of a song, because they had a bunch of clips, and then Pat would talk, and then we would be talking, and then someone else would be saying something, and Pat would be spinning his pen in the air, like, all right, let's wrap it up. And so we're talking, and I didn't feel, he wasn't doing it just to me. I mean, he was just doing it, they were keeping time of their show. And that concept is alien to me, folks. I don't.
Not allowed.
Well, it's foreign to me. I don't understand that. You could tell me to wrap it up and I would laugh. I mean, because like I said, I've told people all the time, I talk until I'm done. That's it. That's the show. I talk till I'm finished. And so now so then I go to do the Comedy Film Nerd show, and we're talking, and we're having a good time. We're laughing, we're having fun, we're joking. And then Graham keeps like pointing at his watch and doing the pen in the air and spinning. And I'm like, what the fuck is with these people? It is such a weird concept. You do a podcast because you can do whatever the fuck you want at all times. But I respect their format. Absolutely. When it was funny, I was sad. Like when Pat was like, because you'll hear it on the show. I don't know if they cut it out. I don't know what editing they do. But I had brought a certain amount of clips, and then we didn't get to one of my clips. And I was like, oh, dude, can I do my last clip? And Gary's like, well, I'm going to get the final word. And Pat's like, all right, Gary, you get the final word, and then we're out of here. Thanks for listening. And I'm like, I actually pouted. I sat back in my chair with my my lip out because I had something I really wanted to point out. And then thankfully Pat was talking, and they were talking, and then Pat said, all right, you had one more clip, Chinatown, right? And I was like, yay! I was 9. And so I got to tell my story and talk about why I like this clip of Chinatown and exactly how I felt in the car driving when I heard it, because it's important that you guys know how I feel when I hear songs. Nobody gives a fuck. But their show, because I guess Rock Solid, Never Not Funny presents Rock Solid, the podcast, that's only 45 minutes, that show. Like that's how they do it. And so I guess with me, it's going to be, it's got to be over an hour. I mean, we talked and talked. With clips and music, and then I didn't know if you could talk over the clips, and then Pat did, so then I started talking over the clips and going, now listen to this here, and then listen to this there. I'm like, I think I actually said this on their podcast, if you want me to talk about Van Halen, I will put on a mortarboard and bring a pointer, and we will go to fucking Van Halen school, honestly, and you will be hot for teacher, because I will fucking bring it in your lap. But they were wrapping me up. Like, it was so weird to be on 2 different podcasts in one day who kept wrapping up the show and going, yeah, we're almost done. We got to get out of here. Oh man, no, you don't have to get out of here. We're in a garage. We don't have to get out of here at all. We could talk for hours and hours about the movies if you wanted to. I would love to do that. Can we do that? Let's talk about the movies, especially on the fucking Oscar podcast. There's 4 of us. It's me, Chris, Graham, and Neil. And because Neil Weekly, who's the regular guy of Comedy Film Nerds, he's a writer on the site, and he was there to talk. And I felt so bad for him because he's not a comedian. So he's in there with 3 comics who are just sucking the air out of the room. And then we'll throw it to Neil, and he has a cogent point that he brings to the table, and he talks. And then all of us are just waiting to jump in with our foolishness. I mean, it was just so, but it's so, and I don't get to talk to people very often, folks, as you know, because all of my plans to rent a cabin have gone by the wayside. So I don't get to Goldblum it up with anybody. So I have to say, so when I'm in a room talking to people, I'm like, let's talk for real. Let's talk a lot. Let's talk about Van Halen and the things we've done. Let's talk about the places we've been and the places we want to be. Let's talk about who we are as people. I mean, it's like, I want to just keep going. And those guys are like, wrap it up, because we're professionals and do an actual show. We're not like you, a guy who knows the show is over only because his tonsils start bleeding. That's my wrap it up sign. I don't have to tap a watch. I don't have to spin a pen in the air when the blood starts secreting from my uvula. And my tongue decides, you know what? I'm numb enough. I'm numb enough. Ha ha da da da. I'm numb enough. Da 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 da. I'm numb enough. Da 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 da. And by the way, speaking of that, Muppets on the Oscars. That was a moment of silence for the death of the Muppets. Motherfucker. Unbelievable. Look, I will be honest, the Muppets don't hold the cherished place in my childhood and in my heart that a lot of people do. I know people who own all the Muppet Show DVDs and they love it, and I enjoyed it. It was just one of those things, but I don't, I didn't lose my mind over them. I loved Sesame Street, but I didn't love the Muppet Show. Like when I was a kid though, I loved, like to this day I still love Sesame Street. Like I could watch it. I should watch it. We should be watching it now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But the Muppets themselves, I don't. But I'll tell you what, if anybody loved the Muppets, that love was nipped in the bud on Sunday. I don't. That's because I asked, but I said, "Is that Frank Oz?" And everybody's like, "No, he's not involved anymore." And I'm like, "Yes, I know. It's very obvious because that Mrs. Piggy. I don't know if you're aware of this, folks. This Mrs. Piggy. She's older now and married. Actually, that explains it. That was Mrs. Piggy. Miss Piggy sounds completely different. She seems younger and more vibrant and certainly funnier. She'd have to be a lot funnier because Mrs. Piggy was not funny at all. Just horrible. And and like, I don't want to talk about the Oscars. You go listen to the Oscar wrap up on the Comedy Film Nerd show. That's all I'll talk about the Oscars. There's no reason, no point. I'll talk about movies. I'll do that because, folks, I should tell you this. As you listen to me talk and you sit there and you think to yourself, my God, why isn't this guy in the movies himself? I am, folks. Yeah, that's right. A few months ago, like 8 months ago, it's a while ago. There's a listener to this show, a guy named Jeremy Gillespie, and Jeremy approached me electronically. He didn't approach me in the street. He stalked me. He came out and he threw a cape over his face because he's not Mexican. He can wear a cape. He approached me via email and he's like, "Hey, dude, we are doing a movie. And I should give you the backstory on what they did. He's in a comedy group called Astron 6, and they're in Canada because, as you know, I only have fans in Canada. That's it. I only have fans in Canada and none in Atlanta, which has been brought into sharp relief this week. So he's up there in Canada, and he's a listener to the show. He loves the show. He's very nice. And he approached me. He's like, dude, me and my comedy group, Astron 6, they made a fake trailer for a movie. I think it was like a 2-minute long trailer. And the guys at Troma Films saw it, Lloyd Kaufman and the people at Troma, who, if you know anything, they are the premier name in schlock horror entertainment. I mean, yes. They made Kabuki Man. They've made Cannibal the Musical. They were the guys who helped with that. They made Toxic Avenger is probably the biggest one that you would know. Surf Nazis Must Die. That's all these are all Troma productions. So as I say those titles, you pretty much know what you're getting into with Troma, right? You understand? Okay. So it's that kind of stuff, but it's real schlocky. Crazy over the top horror. Awesome. and other things. It's all crazy. So they made this fake trailer for a movie called Father's Day. And it was about a serial killer who is raping and murdering fathers, like male, like men who are dads. It's about a serial killer who rapes and murders dads. And they made it, and the trailer is really like full of blood and crazy. And I don't recall I don't kind of know the whole story, but somehow Troma got involved, Lloyd Kaufman, and they were like, hey, let's make this an actual movie. And Astron 6 was like, yeah, we'd love to do it. So Astron 6 decides they're going to make this entire film about a guy who's a serial killer who rapes fathers, he rapes dads, and kills them. And then there's a guy who has to, from his past, who has to hunt him down and get him, whatever the fuck. They got to rate an entire movie around it now. So that's the backstory on it. And then Jeremy Gillespie is a listener to the show, and he sends me an email, and he asks me, he wants me to be in the movie. They want me to be a bouncer at a strip club. And so he's actually, the part is for me. He wants me to do it. And I'm like, okay. And Jeremy's probably going to correct me because it was a while ago, so I don't recall all that happened. But the bottom line was I couldn't get to Canada because they had no budget. I mean, they couldn't fly me out, they couldn't pay me, but I was willing to go. I was actually looking into scheduling a date of the one man in town and flying out and filming it for them. And I think we had some correspondence back and forth about it, but they weren't sure about what it was going to happen. And their budget it wasn't even a shoestring. It was a string. Like they couldn't even afford the shoestring. Okay. So they were going to make it on their dime themselves. And he wanted me to be in it as the bouncer. And I was like, it just wouldn't work out. I wanted to make it happen, but it couldn't. So then he wrote me, again, very nice. And he goes, well, look, I want you to do this. So why could you do this? Could you be the voice of the strip club DJ? Like if you recorded stuff, I would send you the script, you could record it and send it to us, and then we would put it in the movie. And yeah, I can fucking do that. I think we know that, right? So wait, so you're asking me if I can talk for your movie? I don't know if it's possible, but yeah, I'll give it a shot. Why not? I'll give the script a day in court, send it along. So he sends me the script, and I sat down with Lily, and we recorded it here, literally just right here in the Strippers Kitchen Studios, the SKS.
My company.
Yeah, exactly. And I recorded their script, but also I made up a bunch of shit. Like I vamped a bunch of stupid shit, and we sent it all to Jeremy. And that was the last I heard of it. He's like, "Thank you. You know, we're looking forward to it. We'll figure out what to do with all of it. That's great. I loved all of it." Tick, tick, tick. Time goes by. And I forgot about it. I mean, I won't lie to you. I completely spaced because there's another. This will blow your mind. Another person asked me to do a movie in the Midwest, and he was willing to fly me out and pay me and have me do it. And then I was like, great. And then unfortunately, it fell by the wayside. And actually, he just stopped contacting me. So I don't know if his funding fell through or because he offered me, because I didn't demand anything. He offered me money and all this stuff right away. And I was like, yeah, it just seemed weird, but yes, I'll take it. He should take a tip from Jeremy Gillespie. He was like, we have no money at all. None. And I said, all right. And I should tell you, I didn't get paid like to do the movie because again, I don't want to. They're working on a shoestring budget, and I was honored to be asked. And if they ever do something else, if they want to use me, then that'd be great. So I forget about it, shine it. Time goes by. I get an email from Jeremy, and he's like, "Hey," and this is in December, I think it was. He contacted me, so we're looking at 6 months goes by, and he's like, "Hey, the movie's done. It's premiering here and it's going here, and it's premiering in Los Angeles in February, and I would love it if you went and I will put you on the list." I was like, because I'll be honest with you, man. I always get told that I'm going to do shit and then it completely disappears. It falls by the wayside. Nothing ever happens. So I just gave them the audio and they could do whatever they wanted with it. It was actually January. He got a hold of me. So it's like 7 months. And he's like, yeah, man, it's in February and it's a screening and I'd love for you to go. And I was a little trepidatious, and so I wrote him. I think I made up a word. That's a word? Trepidatious? I was filled with trepidation, but I don't know if trepidatious is a word. I'm Don King. Apparently, Don King's doing the podcast. This is one of the biggest hocus pocus dominocuses in the history of the city. That's Harold Washington, who was the former mayor of Chicago. He actually said that. That's a soundbite they used to play. This is one of the biggest hocus pocus dominocuses in the history of the city. And then he and Kingfish hopped in their car and drove off. All right, so. So Jeremy's like, all right, dude, I want you to do this, be on this screening. And I was stunned that it was even happening still. So I wrote him and I said, I would love to do it, but if I'm going to do this, it's me plus 3 because I want to bring Karen, I want to bring Lily, and Lily will bring her boyfriend Eddie. And he's like, yeah, I can figure that out. I'll definitely put you on the list. And and that then started the great trauma email chain of 2012. Because I started to hear I heard from Jeremy as he would contact Trauma, and then I heard from Trauma as they would contact Jeremy. I somehow got in the chain I got CC'd on all of it, where they were trying to get me on the list, and they were saying it shouldn't be a problem, and Jeremy said, glad to hear it, and they said, okay, who is it again? And then he said, it's Mike Schmidt plus 3, and he said, and who is this again? And like literally all this back and forth, and I'm just watching it fly by on my computer screen. Day after day, back and forth, it's ping-ponging before my very eyes, and am I in the screening or not? Good, I think I am. So that happens in January, and then time ticks away. And then last Friday, I'm at my house, and I get an email from Jeremy Gillespie, and it says graveyard shift urgent. And because that was the email that we'd been sending back and forth, and I open it up, and it says, hey, just wanted to make sure that you know that the screening is tonight, and that you guys are on the list. And I had completely forgotten about it. I had, because the Great Trauma email exchange of 2012 had ended weeks before. So I just kind of shined it. I'm like, fuck, I don't even know. And I should tell you, Friday, Lily was supposed to be coming over to help with my taxes, and I hadn't slept. You know me, my schedule's all fucked up. So I was like, oh, no, I can't make it. I'm not going to. So I wrote Jeremy, and I said, and this is exactly what I wrote. I completely, totally, and utterly forgot about this. Seriously, I don't know if I can make it. I've got an appointment this afternoon, and I haven't slept. The appointment's at 5, so I'll never be able to make a screening. And I was like, thank you, but I don't know if I can do it. And I sent it to him, and he wrote me back and said, well, the screening's not till midnight, so you'd probably have time to go if you wanted, but I completely understand. And the second he said it was at midnight, my whole outlook changed. I was so happy because that's when I live. That's my life. I'm up at midnight. Fuck yeah. So I was like, dude, I can definitely make that happen. So I wrote him, and I said, I wrote him 2 things. I said, all right, you know what? If it's at midnight, I want to go. Definitely. 2 things. Am I definitely on the list for this? because I don't want to show up and nobody knows who the fuck I am, and I look like an idiot trying to crash a screening. And 2, is my voice in the movie? Because I've been hurt before, Jeremy. And I'd just like to be hurt beforehand rather than sitting in the dark theater. And he wrote me back, and he said, Mike, I've checked. You should be on the screening list +3, but I'll be honest with you, we weren't on the list in New York. And we made the movie. So I'm hoping you will be on the list. He goes, if you're not, buy the tickets and I will just donate to the show the ticket price. And again, that's not on him, man. That's on fucking Troma. Because again, a string budget. Fucking string budget. So I'm like, all right. And then the second one he wrote, your voice is definitely in the movie. And you are in the credits. And I was like, all right, good for me. So I was going to go. I immediately called Lily. I said, hey, what are you doing tonight? Because apparently I had Marky Ramone call her. Hey, what are you doing tonight? I asked her if her and Eddie wanted to go to a midnight screening of the movie. She was very nice to agree immediately.
Yes.
And Karen was up for it. So I said, all right, we're going. And I went to bed. I got a few hours of sleep, got up. Karen and I went to dinner. And I was constant text contact with Lily, making sure she was going to meet me at the theater. I didn't know what was happening. And also, midnight screening, I'm like, well, that's going to be fucking dead. It's down at the New Art. It's this one theater in L.A. It's amazing. It's such a great theater. But I was like, you know what? Midnight screening, we can get there around 11:30. So we went to dinner, son of a gun. Karen and I, we waited, had some dinner, and climbed in the car. We're driving. And now it's like 11:30, and I'm like, fuck. The only thing is I want to get there early because of the list thing. I don't want to fuck around if there's no list. So, and there's no assigned seating. I didn't want to sit and whatever. And in my head, I'm like, well, nobody's going to be there. Why the fuck are you twisting your guts with a stick? No one's going to fucking be there. So sure enough, we pull off the freeway and I look and there's a fucking line down the street. Yes, it's great that they're going to have people coming in to see the movie, but also at the same time, I'm pissed because if I'm not on the list, I've got to stand in that motherfucking line. So I'm freaked out, and Karen and I, we park, and we hustle up, and Karen's smoking and lollygagging, and I'm like, I'm going ahead. So I go to the front, and there's a box office, there's like 9 people ahead of me buying tickets, and they're all they're buying tickets. They're there to see the fucking movie, because Troma is a cult company, and they have people who will go see anything that they do. For some reason, I spaced. Like, it's like comic book people or Dungeons & Dragons people. There's Troma people who love it, and they want to see anything that they do. And I didn't realize also, there's a buzz behind Father's Day, which I find out later because after I get home, I immediately go look, and like Rue Morgue magazine gave them the cover. All these different horror magazines, there's niche people out there, and these websites reviewed it and loved it. So all these people come to see it. So I'm like, fuck, I'm going to have to get in line. So I walk up, I wait for these 9 people. They all buy their tickets, and I get to the front of the line, and there's a box office. I said, hey, is there a list? Because I think I'm on the list. He goes, you're going to have to go ask the people in the lobby. He goes, I don't have any list. I go, there's no Troma list? He goes, there might be. It's probably in the lobby. Wait a second. I have a list right here. Like, it's that quick. He doesn't even blink. He just goes, yeah, you know what? You're going to have to go into the lobby and talk to those people. Wait a second. Right here's a list. He just pulls it out. And I look, and Lily Von Stupp was on the list. He put all of our names individually in case we didn't get +3. But I said, I'm Mike Schmidt +3, and he wrote +3. He goes, okay, just go in the lobby. So we got to skip the fucking line, which is the most important thing in the world. But we get into the lobby, and then we're in the lobby with like Troma people. So I'm in the lobby. I'm standing next to the Toxic Avenger. He's in full costume. He's got a fucking mop. And then next to him is Dennis Woodruff, who is a famous, non-famous guy in Los Angeles. He used to drive around in a car that said, I'm Dennis Woodruff, hire me. And his headshot was all over it. He might still. But I remember him when I first moved here in 91. Like, that's what I'm saying. Not even like, when I came back in 91. So that's fucking 20 years ago. He would drive around. He was a young guy and he would hand out his headshot. Now he's old and he's still fucking doing it. And he's famous for being that guy. And he's wearing a full gold spacesuit. And he's in there. And then there's all these other people kind of, hanging around. And then G4 is there. And some dude with a huge fucking Glenn Plake mohawk stacked up to the goddamn ceiling, and he's interviewing everybody, and everybody except me, by the way. I made myself accessible. I certainly waited and waited, but he did not thrust the microphone into my face. But G4's there with a camera crew. They're filming. They're interviewing directors. The guy from Hatchet is there, and they're directing all these people. And Wrong Turn, the director of Wrong Turn, that's who's being interviewed by G4, and they are affiliated with Troma. So we're waiting, and I'm waiting for Lily. Lily's not there yet, and then she texts me. She's, I'm here. I said, just come on in. And also, one of Lily's whack pack was there, Count Smokula. He's a short little guy who dresses like Grandpa Munster and plays an accordion.
Yes, and he's awesome. You hate him.
I just don't get it. I don't, you know what I mean? It's just because he's also been around since 91. Like, he's one of those dudes. There used to be a thing called Rock City News that was a free newspaper in the street. It was about heavy metal bands, and he was in it every month. Like, they would show him because he would hang out on the strip with his accordion in his full costume, and he's that guy, famous for being famous. He's a guy who just hangs out at events, hangs out on the street, and gets photographed. And that's who he. And I guess he's also a very talented songwriter. I don't know anything else about fucking Count Smokula, but the reason he's there, he wrote 3 songs for Father's Day. So that's one of the reasons he's there. But he's in full Smokula regalia, and he's outside playing his accordion, and Toxic Avenger's dancing next to him, and it's just a fucking scene, man. It's a goddamn freaky scene. So I'm there with Karen, and then Lily shows up. She says hello to Smokula. Her and Eddie walk in, and here's my favorite part: is I'm just me. I'm in a shirt, and Karen's normal, and Lily, she's incapable of just being Lily. When she dresses up, she cuts a figure, and Karen's the same way. Like, if Karen were to dress up, everybody notices. But because Karen was just with me, we were just going to the movies at midnight, she didn't, she's Karen. But Lily shows up as Lily Von Stupp. Fucking slip dress, huge boobs, cane, hair down, and on her arm wearing gold lame shoes or silver shoes and a suit with a silver tie and his mustache all twisted up like fucking Poirot. And I don't know if he had a fez on or not. He had a fez on. And so he outs Troma's Troma. Like, Eddie comes in just looks like a fuck. And the thing is, I'll be honest, I was happy because I knew when I told them it was a midnight screening for a Troma film, I was like, Eddie's going to fucking fit right in. It's going to be great. Any weirdness I don't bring to the table, he's absolutely going to bring to the fucking table. Fuck, he's going to bring the table. So he shows up weird. They come in and they're talking to Smokula and Toxie, and then they come over to us and they've got the list, and he says, and the guy's like, "Who are you?" And I said, "I'm Mike Schmidt. I'm +3." And the guy's like, "Okay, great," because I thought they're going to make me go out and stand in the line. So now we're accepted. We get some popcorn, and they go, "Okay, you guys can go sit down." We go sit down. I see Lloyd Kaufman, the head of Troma. He walks in, and we get our seats. We get perfect seats, and the theater starts to fill up. I would say it's about 2/3 full. It was a lot of people there. And then all of a sudden, Count Smokula goes to the front of the room with Toxie. And he and the Toxic Avenger there, and Smokula starts playing songs about Troma. He's written songs about Troma, and he's singing them, and he's singing a song about the Toxic Avenger. And Toxic Avenger is tap dancing on the stage and holding a mop. And then Dennis Woodruff goes up in full gold lame spacesuit with a helmet on, and he starts dancing as well. So they're dancing on the stage while Smokula plays his accordion, and people are clapping and cheering and going crazy. And because that's the thing. I guess that's what it's all about, schlock. And it's all about Troma schlock. And unfortunately, the guys who made Father's Day, Astron 6, could not be here because they're from Canada. And again, they have a string budget, so they couldn't make the scene. Plus, even if they did come, they weren't on the list. So I'm sitting there with my friends, and I'm watching this unfold before me. And then they come down with a microphone, and they announce, thank you for coming, Father's Day, this premiere, and let's now bring down the father of Troma, Lloyd Kaufman. And he comes down, and he's a piece of work. He's like Roger Corman, kind of old school Hollywood, but also kind of a weird dude. He's like Stan Lee, but a little younger and sharper, and kind of a Borscht Belt comedy type of dude. And he's constantly shticky and saying things funny and trying to be cute. And he gets on the microphone and he thanks everybody for coming, and they go crazy for him, and he makes some jokes. And then he brings down the guy from Hatchet and the guy from Wrong Turn, and he interviews them about Wrong Turn 2 and Hatchet 4, whatever they've got. They're a cottage industry now. And it's funny because I wanted to talk to the director of Hatchet so I could punch him, because I paid to see Hatchet. myself. It was because I read, everybody's like, it's a throwback to the old horror movies of the 80s and it's fucking great. It's so good. And so I actually went at 11 o'clock in the morning myself to the ArcLight on a Saturday, and I went to pay because I didn't want to make Karen go. And I watched it, this is like 5 years ago, and I hated every second of it. Like, because John Murray's in it, like Bill Murray's little brother, and he gets to play a Kuvi John Murray character, and you get to see some tits, and then there's, a monster, but it just didn't pay off the way it it didn't work for me. It did not work for me. So, but that's just me. Again, I'm an idiot. But I wanted to talk to him about Hatchet 9 and see how that's coming. So then they get on the Q&A, and it's not even a Q&A, it's just more of a talk. So Lloyd Kaufman brings them down, and they start talking about a TV series that they have that's going to premiere, and then they're talking about Wrong Turn 17, and then, and then fucking Hatchet 11. And meanwhile, Toxie and Dennis Woodruff are still dancing, and Smokula's there, and he's playing a song, and then they talk for about 20 minutes. Like, they didn't start until 12:15, and then they talked for 20 minutes on top of that. So now it's like 12:35, and then they bring down a guy who's an editor who was working on the Oscars. They're like, he actually doesn't want to talk to us anymore because he's graduated from Troma and he's working on the Oscars. And finally, the guy stood up. This was actually funny. They kept talking. They kept talking about him. They go, "Oh, he's too good for us. He won't come down and talk to us." But he works in the Oscars now. But he used to be a member of the family, but now he doesn't. He's here, but he won't come and talk to you guys. He's that. And they harangue him for a good 2 minutes, and then finally the guy goes, and he stands up and he waves and he starts to walk down to the stage. They go, "Hey, finally you deigned to join us. I guess we're not as good as the Oscars." And they're busting his balls. He takes 10 steps, and they go, "All right, we're just going to start the movie." And the best part of it was he turned on a heel and went right back to his seat.
It was great.
It was they burned him until he got up. He took 10 steps. They go, "All right, we're just going to start this fucking movie." And he turns around and goes right back to his chair. It was so great. So, and it made me, I laughed out loud. So sure enough, they walk and then they split and they turn the lights down. And it was fucking, Father's Day is a Troma movie. It's a Grindhouse movie. It's all of those things in one. You know what I mean? It's blood and schlock but it's funny and it's absurd. It's so absurd. So they started and they show coming attractions for Dead Again by, Peter Jackson's first movie. And they show a coming attraction for Fight Club, the trailer. They're showing all these trailers because these are movies they're going to be showing at the New Art in the coming weeks. And it also set the tone, man. It really kind of got everybody into it. And then they had those old, the feature presentation, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I love that stuff. I love it. It reminds me of being a kid. And then they started the movie, and we sat there watching Father's Day. And it is, again, like I said, it is just this absurd, crazy horror movie. There's a guy with an eye patch who makes maple syrup. There's and I will say this, there's a rape scene early, okay, where a father gets raped, a dad gets raped in his house. And people were laughing, like in the theater, like some people were laughing because they're looking at the absurdity of it. Like, really, this guy's going to rape a dad? Karen looked away because it was a pretty realistic rape scene. I mean, it was rough. All right. I won't lie to you. It's about, I would say 60 seconds to 90 seconds of, oh yeah, that's happening. And that's really happening. And, because it's a rape scene where the dad gets pushed down and he's laying there, and then the guy starts to pull his pants down and he's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" It's like, it's not played for laughs, man. It's fucking horrible. But people are laughing because they're trying to break the tension. Like, haha, that's funny. It wasn't funny at all. It was fucking horrifying. And the other, because again, there's a bunch of other rapes that are hilarious. All right. But the very first rape scene in the movie is a gut punch. Because the camera is on the faces the whole time, and it's the view, and it is brutal. And Karen was just like, "I'm not ready for that at all." And other people are like, "Ha ha ha!" And it's that kind of like, you're laughing at that. I want to see your license. I want to see your ID, just in case later on something bad happens. I know to tell the police where you live. Nobody laughs at that fucking scene. It was brutal. And then the movie goes on, and I mean, it is just a festival of cocks and blood and nudity and murders and people eating internal organs. And a guy injects a needle into the head of his cock in close up. Yeah. You absolutely see him holding his dick, and he jams a needle into it and shoots something into the head of his cock. And then takes the needle out, and the liquid sprays out of the hole that's in the head of his cock. I mean, it is crazy, over the top, crazy. So the movie's playing, and I know I'm the strip club DJ. That's all I know. So as it's going on, we meet the hero, and then we meet another hero, and then we meet another hero, because there are 3 heroes in this film. And look, we're all heroes, folks, in this movie. And it goes on, and then it turns out they get the eye-patched hero comes from, he's been living in a cabin for years, and they bring him back to town, and this priest has to take him, and he goes, take me to he has to go to a strip club. And right when he walks in the door, I'm like, all right, this is a strip club, so I don't know what's going to happen. And then you hear, he walks in the strip club, and it's a strip club. It's quiet, and there's like lights, and you hear, Nipples Gonzalez to the main stage. Nipples Gonzalez to the main stage, please. You hear me. And that's one of the things I made up, was Nipples Gonzalez to the main stage. And Lily fucking she goes crazy laughing. And Karen does not know it's me. She doesn't even put it together. She wasn't ready for it. She didn't hear it. And when Lily's laughing so hard, and Lily high fives me, and Karen goes, what? And I go, that was me. She goes, what? And I go, that was me. Listen. And then I say another thing, and I don't remember which thing it was. But it was a thing about, oh, gentlemen, get out your dollar bills, and it was another thing that I made up, and they played that, and then so you hear me clearly, and then he goes into the back, and then he has to fight a bouncer, and then he has to talk to some strippers, and he talks to the woman who runs the strip club, who used to be his girlfriend, who he got pregnant and ran away from. Whatever, long story. So he's looking for his sister, who happens to be a stripper in the club, and he's like, where is she? Where's Chelsea? And she goes, whatever. And he walks out to the main stage, and as he walks out there, the lights start going, and then you hear the scripted part of what they sent me. Ladies and gentlemen, and the lonely lady, get your money out now, because she is the cheetah that will eat your heart right out of your chest. Whatever the fuck it was, I don't remember. Awesome. And it's me clearly talking. And then Chelsea, she comes out. And I should tell you this, when he initially took my voice track, he matched it to this scene, and then he emailed it to me on YouTube, because you're the only one who can see this. This is what it's going to look like. So I knew that coming in, but I didn't, you never know what's going to wind up on the cutting room floor, if it's going to last or not. So I knew that part was in the movie. And I didn't know the other extraneous dialogue was in, which was great. And Chelsea comes out and gets naked and hot dancing. Oh. And then the movie it's off to the races, and then there's stuff going, and I laughed. I mean, I want to tell you so bad the thing I laughed the hardest at, but it gives something away, so I can't do it. But I mean, it's crazy. They're chasing the guy. He's the fuckman. That's the guy who's this, and it turns out he's an ancient demon who's come to Earth to rape fathers. And there's a blind priest, and then there's he has a subterranean lair, and then there's a water slide. And there's a chase into hell. They actually wind up in hell, and there's stop motion. It's crazy. It's ludicrous. It's like they threw everything against the wall, and all of it fucking stuck. Yes. Because it was covered in so much fake blood and corn syrup. Literally, I'm the only guy in the movie you don't get to see his cock. Literally, I'm. Everybody else is naked and running, and there's different scenes where their cocks are hanging out, and it's like I'm the only one because I'm a disembodied voice. Me and the bouncer who gets fucking punched or shot. Yeah. So and I will be honest with you, when I did record it, my cock was out. That's you can actually hear it in my performance. My cock was out. So we watch the movie, and it rolls, and it's and it ends. I can't give away the ending. I will say this: the ending. The final ending, the final shot, fucking awesome. I won't tell you what it was, but that also made me laugh really hard. And then we're sitting there, and it ended, and people are still in the theater, they're laughing, a really great response. And I got to warn you, it's brutal. All right, it is absurd and crazy, and it is all over the place because it's just funny, weird, and there's blood and cocks and tits, and it's insane. It's an insane movie. The only thing it does not have is me and Merle Haggard hopping out of a time machine to kill the fuckman. That's the only thing it does not have.
Oh, man.
So it ends and the credits start to roll, and I know I'm in the credits. So I'm waiting, and you see all the names. And I let me go also, by the way, and say this. The music for this movie is fucking fantastic. It is fantastic. Fuck Smokula's songs. They're fine, I guess. But Jeremy actually did the score for it. I found it in the credits. And it was the opening credit sequence is brilliant. Yeah. It's this like animation and with the music and it's happening and I can't even explain. And then the closing credit sequence where it's the slow crawl up on the people who starred in the movie along with the actual credits. It's both credit sequences fucking out of this world. I loved them both. And I loved the music. So the credits are rolling at the end and it's going very slowly. And then you look and it says Mike Schmidt, Low Life DJ. And I'm like, that's perfect. So Mike Schmidt, Low Life DJ, and it rolls up and we're reading the rest of the credits. And then as the credits continue to scroll up, it says, special thanks to Mike Schmidt and Lily Von Stupp. Check out the 40-Year-Old Boy podcast.
It was so cool.
How fucking amazing is that? I mean, so it's like I don't need to be paid. That was all the money I needed because every trauma idiot who sees it is going to go, who the fuck is that? Oh, he was the DJ. Oh, we got to check it out, and they're going to tune into the fucking show. It was fantastic. I was and Lily, because Lily didn't know she was in the credits. She had no idea, and I didn't even know either because he had said something in the email that he said you want to check out. We mentioned the podcast, and I was like, well, there's no way. But then literally, it's in big letter. It's like a standalone thing. It's not buried in a ton of special thanks. It says special thanks to Mike Schmidt and Lily Von Stupp. Check out the 40-Year-Old Boy podcast. Fucking amazing. So happy. And I just gave Lily a fist bump. You know, I mean, I'm just sitting there so happy and excited. And the credits rolled and then the lights came up and they started to do a Q&A with Lloyd Kaufman. And it's at this point, it's like 2:45. My wife is gassed and Lily's like, I got to get out of here. So, and I didn't have any questions other than, hey, what did you think about that Low Life DJ? That would have been the only question I had. Hey, how about that Low Life DJ? He was great, wasn't he? Just to say my voice and everybody go, wait a minute, that was Nibbles Gonzalez on the main stage. Who wants an autograph? Terrible. So I got home and I had, we left and everything and it was so fun and great and amazing to be there and see it. And my name's in the credits and then twice. So cool. And, I wrote Jeremy a note that night and I just said, man, I can't thank you enough. I loved it. Thank you so much. And the very fact you gave me that other shout out is so weird. Thank you. And we were on the list. Not a problem. Everything was great. And then he got back to me in the morning very quickly and he just said, hey, I'm glad you came and I'm glad you liked it. Thank you so much for doing it. I will send you the ticket money anyway. I'm going to donate to the show. And I wrote him and I said, instead of donating, why don't you send me the music to the movie?
Oh, yeah.
I said, I fucking loved it. And he goes, I think I can arrange that. And sure enough, today before I came to record, I have an email from Jeremy and I open it and there's an attachment and it just says, you can pick and choose, but I just sent it all to you. So I'm so excited. So I can't wait to go home and listen to that. I'm so, and it was so funny because to see the different extremes of it, and I did that Friday. I'm in it. I went and saw it. I hung out with a bunch of people who saw it. And then Sunday, I'm watching the sterile Oscars where you didn't see any cocks at all.
No.
You saw no cocks whatsoever. No. And I'm watching, but I'm thinking to myself, well, that's never going to happen. And it's funny. Then we're watching the Oscars and everybody's going up there and they're thanking their people. And Karen and I were having a running thing. We're like, well, he didn't thank Harvey Weinstein. He didn't thank his wife. He didn't thank those people. And then we're watching and it's quiet. And Karen looks at me and she goes, if you ever went up and won an Oscar, I know that you would, if you forgot to thank me, you'd just go, well, come on, everybody saw you sitting next to me, so they know that you're with me and it's not a big deal. And I said, what? And she said, I'm just telling you that I know that if you forgot to thank me at the Oscars, I would say something to you about it. Then you'd go, oh, come on, I was here with you and everybody saw you sitting next to me. It's not that big a deal. Everybody knows you're with me, so why should I have to thank you? I said, let me get this straight. You're starting a fight with me about what would happen if I won an Oscar and I didn't thank you? And she goes, well, no, I'm not starting a fight. I'm just telling you that I know for a fact that if you were there, you'd find some way to explain a way out of it. You wouldn't say that you were sorry or anything like that. You'd just say, oh, everybody's... I go, Karen, honestly, there's no danger of me winning an Oscar. That's not happening. You saw my film career Friday. There is no way in hell because I'm not getting nominated for Low Life DJ. It's not happening. However, I can tell you this, just the very fact that you brought it up, if somehow I am nominated for the role of Low Life DJ, and if we make it to the red carpet, and if we're sitting there and somehow I win Best Supporting Actor for Low Life DJ in Father's Day from Astron 6 and Troma, guess who I'm not thanking? You guys can get me at mikeandmikeschmidtcomedy.com. You guys can be my friend at facebook.com/the40year-old-boy. You can follow me at Twitter at twitter.com/the40year-old-boy. You can follow our friend Lily Von Stupp on 2 accounts, twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp and twitter.com/MNTs. You can be her friend at facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. And if you'd like to write her a personal note and find out how you can get a photo of Eddie's silver shoes, you can go ahead and write her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
Zazzle.com/40year-old boy. Please buy all his stuff.
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. 10 o'clock p.m. is showtime for that show. And I'm very tight with the cast. Well, some of the cast. But I got to be honest with you, I'm really close friends with the producer. I happen to know her very well. Her name is Lily Von Stupp. Hey, Lily.
Hi.
How are you?
I am fantastic.
Fantastic. So last week was the Monday Night Teas. A couple of days. Well, yesterday. It's Tuesday. So last night. How was the teas? Good?
Fantastic.
That's a lot of the usage of the word fantastic. How many? Was it a theme show last night?
It was the Cartoon Playhouse with Buster Balloon.
Buster.
It was awesome.
Balloon. And I understand you had royalty in the house.
We did.
That's so weird. A prince. Well, a prince and his mom, right?
Yeah.
He didn't remember princess.
She's a princess.
Well, I guess, yeah, if she squeezed out a prince, I guess she's a princess. All right. And they're from where?
Italy.
Now, are you sure this wasn't Borat dressed up in a goofy suit?
No, it was
All right.
not.
Okay.
There were no ashes dumped on me.
Ah, good. Which, by the way, nobody saw coming.
Well, only Ryan apparently didn't see it coming.
Yeah, sure he didn't. So you had that show. So upcoming next week is the Monday Night Teas. Is that a theme show?
Not really, but we have a celebration for a birthday there.
Whose birthday?
Rob the Balloon Guy, my fake son on Facebook.
I like Rob.
I like
I've had breakfast with Rob. Here's my I will tell you this. This is absolutely true, and it's something that I think is actually, it made me laugh. He has business cards or magnets that he hands out. And he has his real name, but it says on there, Rob the Balloon Guy. And then in parentheses, it says, please don't rob me. That's my name. Which I have to admit made me laugh. Because, just to apply the logic of Rob the Balloon. It's good. It's funny. And he's like, hey, he's going to be 11 next week. Is that how old he's going to be?
So,
Yeah.
yes.
He is a young man. Well, good. That's good for you and him. And will he be performing?
He is performing, and we have my friend Brett Loudermilk, who is a sword swallower, and we have...
Talked about him earlier, I
we
think.
have 9 really hot girls taking their clothes off.
Did I talk about Loudermilk earlier? Did I mention the thing that...
Maybe?
I think I mentioned him on the show, but did I say the thing I said before? Yeah, or here's my favorite thing is when Lily's telling me about her friend, the sword swallower, she had lunch with him. She's like, oh, at lunch, it was funny. He swallowed a bread knife and we were talking and I was like, oh my God, that's so scary. And I went, right there, that explains why I have no interest in any of this. We were at lunch and he swallowed a bread knife. Of course he did. Why wouldn't he? Just like I'm sure the human blockhead hammered a spigot into his head and squeezed out some fucking spinal fluid, whatever the fuck. Yet you won't eat lunch with me ever.
That's not true.
But you're out with this fucking calliope bunch. Horrible. All right. So.
I'm going to make you go to lunch with Brett now.
Oh, sure. That'd be great. I got a bread knife for him. So Lily Von Stupp has this show. Next week is Rob the Balloon Guy's birthday. And then there's a sword swallower. And who else did you say beside the sword
9
swallower?
hot girls.
Tons of girls.
Hot girls.
One for every year Rob's been alive. So.
Wait, I'll tell you.
Hold on.
The best one is one of my graduates from Lily's School for Wayward Girls. Her name is Nikita Bitch Project, and she's from Japan, and she is fucking gonna be great.
Nice.
I am like, fuck, I cannot wait to see this live.
Exciting.
Yeah.
So that's so guys, go to that, and so that's Lily, a proud teacher, going to watch a student graduate. All of these great things, and also if you want to get in free, make sure you grab Lily's ass.
Do not do that.
Don't slap her ass because that gets you nothing. That
Do not
gets you a dirty
touch
look.
the merchandise.
Just go ahead and grab it, and you'll get in for free.
No.
But only grab a cheek. Don't. I don't want a finger extended. You're not looking. We're not spelunking. All right, so that's the Monday Night Tease every Monday night, 10 o'clock p.m., Santa Monica and Vine. Check it out. It should be great. Remember, you can go to facebook.com/the40year-old boy and become my friend and also sign up on one of the many pages of the people who want me to come to their towns. There's a Bring Mike Schmidt to Western New York page, which I guess is Buffalo. Bring Mike Schmidt to Toronto. Bring Mike Schmidt to London. London was actually, that was all sort of locked and loaded, almost in the pipeline there. We were really looking at it. And there was a snag this week. There was a London soy snagged. But hopefully we're going to get over that hump or whatever they call it, the Barbie or
The Barbie?
yeah, whatever they call it in England. I don't know. So hopefully we'll get over that and make that happen. Kansas City, Indianapolis, all of these places have pages, and I want them to happen. San Antonio, I'm hoping to come. It's just, go ahead and sign up, and I'll be able to do that. Right now, I'm still worried about the Kickstarter pages and getting the rewards filled, and that will start when I come home from Atlanta this weekend. By the way, have I mentioned tickets are still on sale for Atlanta? At the Fabrifaction Theater this Friday night at 8 o'clock p.m. That's going to be a great show in Atlanta. Go ahead and check it out, folks. Tickets available at brownpapertickets.com right now, and they will be up until Friday morning. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that there will be walk-up sales available for the show, unless Joe decides to buy 70 more tickets for his friends. So let's hope that doesn't happen, folks. So go ahead and pick up the tickets at Brown Paper Tickets. And while you're at Brown Paper Tickets, you can see all of the other shows that are on sale for me, like March 23rd at the DC Arts Center in Adams Crossing or Morgan's Crossing or Adams Morgan, I think it is. I don't know. The section of Washington D.C. Those tickets are on sale right now. It's again 7:30 show, I believe, at the DC Arts Center, and that's only it's going to be a regular short type of show. Just buy tickets. They're available now, and only a few tickets are available. I still think I'm going to sell out in Washington D.C. So go ahead and pick up the tickets now. That is as long as I make it past the White House security check and I don't get tackled while I'm there. Looking forward to it. Hope it makes it happen. And then also April 27th, I will be in Cleveland at Big Dog Theater. Tickets are on sale at brownpapertickets.com for that show. I will tell you about it, even though it's in the distance, but still, tickets, buy them now so I know that I'm not coming to an empty house. And also, I am at the Cambridge YMCA Theater in Boston, Massachusetts on June 1st. Tickets are on sale right now for that. And I am selling tickets for Cleveland and Boston. Just I'm telling you now, if you want tickets, go ahead and pick them up. That would be great. And I mentioned last week going to Fenway Park, and I heard from more than a few of you who talked about going and telling me the tickets were scarce. And that some of you were saying, well, we can get them now, but I'm not sure how many people are going. And I was kind of taking a head count. I don't know. I shouldn't have put it out there. I guess I'm very unorganized. I always think of you as a collective base. So then when I'm like, hey, let's go to Fenway, I hear from all these disparate groups who are like, hey, man, let's all go to Fenway. And I'm like, well, we should all go together. But it's not like that. You can't buy 15 tickets to go to Fenway. I mean, it's crazy. So I'm going to have to figure it out. And it's going to be Sophie's choice, but I'm going to have to make it. And then the rest of you are going to get dragged off to the camps. So please remember that Boston, all of those are happening. Go to brownpapertickets.com and search my name, and you will find a ticket to the city of your choice. Remember, you can go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com and go to the Joe Business page and go to the Zazzle link for mugs and mouse pads. You can go to the tweakedaudio.com/40 link for autoerotic asphyxiation earbuds and cock ring watches. And you can also go to the link where you buy download sets. Year 1, Year 2, and Year 3 are available. As always, you can buy them in a set called the Lord of the Schmidt set. I just sold one of those yesterday to Steve from Manhattan. And yesterday seems like, actually it was like 4 days ago. But that was good. I was glad to do so. And remember, the White House will be buying their copy soon. So they're going to be fine-tooth combing everything that I have. And if you want to just donate to the show, or not just donate, if you want to donate to the show, upper left-hand corner of every page on MikeSchmidtComedy.com, you will find a little Schmitty with his pocket out. Click on that, donate to the show. You can make a one-time donation, or you can donate a monthly donation of $2, $5, or $10. And I will mention you on the show if you do that things. That would be people like our friend Simon Glenn. I think Simon Glenn is in England. I think. I'm not sure. He writes in Cockney, so I hope he's in England.
He writes in Cockney.
Yes, he does. On Facebook, that's how he writes. Also, our friend Alex Madrigal will be coming, or he's not coming, he's donating. He donates every month to the show, Alex Madrigal and Simon Glenn, and then our good friend Peter Williams, which sounds like, because again, Peter Brady was the middle child, but Barry Williams played Greg Brady. Perhaps it's a weird, awkward hybrid of Peter Williams. You know why he donates to the show? Because I fit the suit. And also our good friend Lisa Palumbo. Thank you, Lisa Palumbo, for donating to the show. Lisa Palumbo, Peter Williams, Alex Madrigal, Simon Glenn. Thank you so much for your continued support of this show. I appreciate it. Lily appreciates it. All of us appreciate it very much. I don't know who all of us would be. I pretty much covered it with Mike and Lily. And Max. Throw Max in there too. So good. Oh, you know what? I should plug this too, as I've mentioned. You guys know I mentioned that I was on the Comedy Film Nerds Oscar comedy podcast wrap up. That's available now. Go ahead and download it. And if I say so myself, I was fucking hysterical on it. We were all great, but I was head and shoulders above. And then also there is the Never Not Funny Presents Rock Solid podcast, hosted by Pat Francis and Gary Lucy. And I am involved in that this week, talking all things Van Halen and making them far too serious, analyzing them in a way that nobody ever should. They're a party rock band from California, but to me, they're so much more. If you go listen to Never Not Funny Presents Rock Solid podcast, you will hear me wax rhapsodic about Van Halen and what they mean to me. And then if you will actually listen closely, you will hear the air being cut by Pat's finger as he spins it in the air to wrap up the show. Also, I need to tell you this, folks. I mentioned that I was in the film Father's Day, which is, you can actually like their page on Facebook. I like it, so you can go get it through my page. You can like Astron 6 on Facebook. You can like Father's Day through Facebook. Go ahead and do all that. That'd be fun. And I think you can actually see the trailers for Father's Day online and see if it's coming to your town. They're putting up screenings all over the place, wherever anybody will have them. Wherever they don't mind showing men getting raped by men and guys sticking needles into cocks, Father's Day will be there. Astron 6 will be there. So I'm in that movie. My voice is anyway. But get this, folks. Here's another thing. Our friend Rob Matsushita, who does he does so many of our he did kinetic type things for me. He came to the Chicago show and offered to tape it. He's a good guy, filmmaker, and he has a web series called Chapel. And we've talked about Chapel before. We've plugged it on here with Emily Mills, and it's a great show. You should check it out. The episodes are really fun, and a lot of gunplay, a lot of funny. And they mentioned Bolingbrook in there. They mentioned Lily von Stupp in there. It's been great. So they've done all these things where they've kind of referenced me in the show. It's fun. Well, this week they don't have to reference me. My fucking voice is in it. I am a mob boss off screen, of course, because again, nobody has the budget to fly me to perform. And I'll tell you what, it's funny. Rob, when he asked me to do this, he asked me to do it slow and malevolent, and I did it as such. And then I did an alternate take, copped out and did it as me. Basically, I talked really quickly and I tried to be mean, and he liked that take better than the malevolent take. Cause I mean, I was more comfortable cause I was me. I don't know if I'm good in this or not. All I know is, let's put it this way. The episode itself is great. Last week's is great, and this week's is really good. And there's a high body count. It's really fun. So go ahead and check it out. You can find it on I don't know if there's a chapel.com. Oh yeah, it's claymorepictures.net. Right? That just popped right into my head. claymorepictures.net. And I'm not sure if it's at YouTube. I think it's on Vimeo. And it is episode 4 of year 2. And it's called Neutralized, I believe is the name of it. So check it out. My voice is in it. And Rob was very nice. He said, hey, man, there was like people actually kind of responded to your voice. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense at all. But I'm good for you. I hope that worked out. That's great. I don't think it's true in the least. I think you're a very nice man. But continued success with Chapel, and thank you for asking me to be involved. I was happy to do so. And hopefully when I get to Wisconsin, I'll get to meet the whole Chapel crew. Because there is a Bring Mike Schmidt to Wisconsin 2012 page, by the way. Have I mentioned that? What are you making a face for? What?
Maybe you'll be in it.
I'll be in Chapel? Yeah, that's not going to fucking happen.
Well, if you're there, they can film you.
Well, film me doing what?
I don't know. It'd be awesome. Though.
Strip club bouncer? I've got that. Look, folks, I've got that down. Apparently, that whenever anybody's like, hey, we need a meathead. Let's call Mike Schmidt. Is he interested in being involved? Yes, of course. If it's a meathead thing, I'm in. Absolutely. Fuck that. All right. So, by the way, let me just go ahead and cover this right now because I was going to mention it earlier, but I'm not going to. Don't call Lily. Okay? Can I be more clear than that? Because it's my fault. This is my fault, and I recognize that it's completely my fault because last week I mentioned that Lily's phone number is Lily's phone number, and if you call and try to get through and get to the T's, you'll get Lily. So I don't know who it was, but certainly, was it more than one or certainly just one? One person decided to call Lily at 2:00 in the morning. And he was a lot more polite than stay open later, bitch.
Yeah, that's
People
true.
want to party still.
Shocked.
He called Lily in the middle of the night And was he to talk to you, or was he looking for me, or you said it was some weird thing like.
It was funny because it was like, I go, this is Lily, can I help you? Help? Really? It was like that.
The TV came to life.
And I go, yes, can I help you? And, is this like really Lily?
Oh,
and
my
I'm like,
God.
Yes, it's Lily. Who is this?
Oh, dude.
Oh my God! I listened to you're Lily, and I'm like, who is this? How? And it's like, and I mean, honestly, it was like one of those where it's like, what
At
the
least
fuck?
have a plan of attack. Well, look, if you're going to call, let me put it this way. Don't call Lily. All right, that's rule number 1. But number 2, if you're going to call Lily, have some game. Have something to say. Don't just call her out of the blue and just be like, like it's like Chris Farley calling from the grave to interview her for a sketch.
Yes.
Remember that time when you laughed on the show? That was awesome. I mean, hit it and quit it, man. Just fucking say, hey, you know what? I love you. I love your laugh. I love the show. And hang up. Don't even identify yourself.
That either.
Well, don't call. Like I said, number 1, don't call. Number 2, though, fuck. I mean, honestly, if you're going to call, have some game. Because, again, they were freaked out because you answered the phone at 2:30 in the morning. And that's the weirdest thing. Because he was like, I didn't expect you to answer. You're calling at 2:30 in the fucking morning.
Yeah, and then it was like, well, I figured you were at the club. Well, no. Well, then
That's-
I would have got an answering machine. What do you want?
Yeah. What do you want? Exactly. No, that's the best part. What do you want?
What do you want? And then he was like, and I go, what time is it? 2.
Oh.
Inappropriate. When is the appropriate time to call? Never.
Never. You don't know me. Holy God, you don't know me. There's never an appropriate time to call.
I'm trying to reach Mike. He's not here.
Who's trying to reach me? Why are you trying to call me? What the fuck are you going to say to me?
I know. That's what I thought.
God damn it. Don't call Lily. The hell? She's a celebrity. She's a goddamn celebrity. She can't be taking your phone calls all night.
Not a celebrity. That's the joke. That's what's ridiculous about
It's all ridiculous. There's no reason to call. It made no fucking sense. So that happened. And then Lily gets an email and she forwards it to me. And this guy, he writes, I went to Mike's show in San Francisco. You're a lot easier on the eyes than his fat ass. What the fuck is wrong with you? Do you not think that Lily is my friend and she's going to share that with me? Do you think what? By insulting me, who's one of her best friends, you're going to fucking get over with her? You've got to be fucking kidding me, right? And I don't give a fuck if you're joking or you're busting my balls. You don't fucking know me. Hey, you're a lot easier on the eyes than his fat ass. Well, fuck you. How does that sound? Give me your address. I'll mail you your fucking $20. And forget all the shit that I said to you in San Francisco. You don't deserve my funny. You don't deserve to hear what the fuck I said. God damn it. And here's my favorite part. You forward me the fucking email.
But did you see what I wrote?
Yes, I saw what you wrote, but it didn't matter. It doesn't matter what you wrote because everything underneath it trumped what you wrote that he fucking called me out.
I don't, again, it's one of those things where people compare two things that are apples and oranges, and it's ridiculous.
Like, did he come to the show because I'm supposed to be good looking?
Yes, yeah, that's the point.
And then, unfortunately, I was too fat for him to enjoy, and then he had to write you, and then slag me, who keeps you gainfully employed and is one of your very good friends. As if you were going to go, you're right, he is a fat ass. I love you, anonymous emailer. Do me a favor, call me at 3 a.m.
Really?
I'd say 2, but I'll assume I'll be on the phone at 2. Call me at 3. I should be done with my 2 o'clock by then.
I didn't even realize. I guess he did say you're fat ass.
For fuck's sake, honestly, I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. Why slag me? Why insult me? And then to my friend, dude, just fucking throw your computer out the goddamn window. Seriously. You're not making any fucking friends by doing shit like that. And I guess they think they're being cute or funny, or you're not. You're not being cute or funny at all. At all. Did you think Lily's going to go, I'm going to fuck this guy now? He thinks I'm better looking than Mike. Well, for fuck's sake, she better be better looking than Mike. She makes her living taking her fucking clothes off. I make my living putting mine on and fucking talking. Believe me, when you come to see my show, it's $20 for the ticket. 15 of that is so I'll keep my clothes on. The other 5 is to hear whatever bullshit I want to vomit out that night. So you're goddamn right she better be bringing more to the table looks-wise than I am. Who types that and hits fucking send? God damn it. Buy a mirror. Take a 5-second breath before hitting send on any of your emails. Jesus Christ. I am just stupid enough to think that when people listen to me and they listen to the show, they should take my honesty and go, oh, wow, how refreshing his unvarnished honesty is. And the fact that he's willing to have a scorched earth policy and have no friends or no fucking future is so refreshing and great. But then they'll say to me, hey, do you need somebody rigged for the stake? I go, yes, I do. Done. They'll take care of it for me. Thanks, Snake Rape. Oh, no one listens to show, bro? Wonder why? Wonder why no one listens to show, bro? I don't want to listen to show, bro. Please. Snake Rape, do it, do it, do it, do it.